Trying to turn Arkansas into the best team in the SEC didn't go that well during my first season. We lost 6 straight conference games. But what if I told you the answer to all of our problems was Malachi Nelson, a 5-star quarterback who busted hard? He went from USC to Boise State to UTEP to now Arkansas, where he outperformed all the other quarterbacks we have in the offseason. I really have set him up for failure though, since I'm controlling him. Plus I have to play on the hardest difficulty and on the most challenging sliders as well. And for year 2, I want to get 8 wins or more, which would be better than we did in my first season. The goal is to slowly build Arkansas into the powerhouse program that they once were. It's just really challenging playing in the SEC with the most difficult schedule in the entire country. We're literally opening up the year against the previous national champions. At least we were able to use the transfer portal period though to get guys like Isaac Smith and Amarian Peterson, so we have improved. But one thing I wish our starting running back had was a little bit more speed, because at 90, he's not going to be able to outrun any of the best defenses in the SEC. We run into that exact same issue with most of our receivers besides Jaylen Brown, who was able to live up to his potential. Jeff Bobo is another kid that could follow that line of improvement, but the Jim from Arkansas only is 84 speed, so we might end up moving him over to tight end. Other prospects in this class include loads of 4-stars, but you might notice that we're going after 4 quarterbacks at once. I want to make sure that we at least sign one good one this year. Even if we don't get Tyrone Board, I think there's a lot of other options in here I'd be okay with. We just don't know what their dev traits are going to be. I have been delaying the inevitable though, a potential blowout against Texas Tech on the road. This is against the team that won the national championship last year, and it is listed as the game of the week. We're opening up week 0 with a very challenging matchup, but I still believe we can compete with the Red Raiders. Our transfer quarterback, Malachi Nelson, is going to get the first drive in this game. Last season, it was nice having a guy like Taylon Green, so we tried to recruit someone similar at the quarterback position, but he just fumbled his first carry. Not what you want to see early on. We just had a 1-yard carry, so on second down, we're trying to get a little more. Sophomore receiver Courtney Crutchfield couldn't hang on to the ball though, which makes it 3rd and 10, and it's out of reach, but there's a flag. So we're getting bailed out early. With a new set of downs, Amarian Peterson can get the carry. There was nowhere for him to go there though. We're about to take a sack as well. I'm not sure what Malachi Nelson was supposed to do there. He was stuck in an animation. I was trying to scramble. And at least early on, Texas Tech, they're looking pretty strong on the defensive side of the ball. I'm hoping that we can do the same though, except we are already missing a tackle. On the bright side, we're about to be facing off against a freshman quarterback. So we're not playing the guy that just won them a national championship last season. I don't know what we were thinking having the hardest schedule in the country. It's not going to be fun. In fact, getting back to a bowl game is going to be a problem just in itself, as we can't even get a play on the ball. At least last year, it felt like we had a couple games in our schedule that were freebies. I'm not sure if there are any this season. Texas Tech already has it on a 1st and goal where they hand it off, and we're not winning that battle up front. Despite Malachi Nelson going cold early on though, we were able to put Jaylen Brown on a streak over there. I don't know why they're pressing the 97 speedster, but he's gonna give this team life, which we desperately needed. We have not been able to move the ball, besides that one play. But that'll at least keep the crowd quiet for a little bit longer. Freshman Carl Costello doesn't seem to play like freshman though. They got him out here slinging the rock all over the field, and Texas Tech just responded in 2 plays. I am not trying to get into a typical Big 12 game where it's just an offensive shootout, because I am like 99% sure we're going to lose. We're going to go for the handoff here. Amarian Peterson gets his biggest run on the ground yet. And the next play, we mix in a little play action. We're going to wait all the way until we can find Andy Jean open, who goes to the 35. What's so interesting about this team is there's a lot of guys on it that'll be back next year if we assume that they're not going to transfer away. There's only one starter on this offense that's a senior, our center, Caden Kittler. That just makes me feel good that we didn't only build for this 1 year. You have to consider though, players like Malachi Nelson, they already want to transfer, which is why we need to have a good season so he doesn't. But he currently can't even hit a bubble screen. Why am I betting our success on a quarterback that busted? There's his first interception too, just throwing it straight at a kid. We'll see how long he ends up lasting for us this season. Maybe we can force their quarterback into a bad read as we get it with Taj Overton. Just like I thought would happen, he thought he could test us, and it's not working out as Amarian Peterson is at the 10. You know, that interception looked like we were just gonna hurt ourselves, but we are so back immediately. We do not want this to turn into a blowout, but these passes are rough. We could always scramble with Malachi Nelson too though. We just got clamped up. Jaylen Brown, our best receiver, has absolutely no route running ability, He can't even make the tackle. I guess he knocked him out. But what was that? Malachi Nelson was trying to throw him open. He predicted that he would get separation. I mean, look at this. This is the guy that's the best receiver in this room, and even he isn't able to get open on a route that typically beats man-to-man. I don't know how we are going to make it all the way back to a bowl game this year just off of this early performance, or how we're going to be able to continue to build up a half-decent roster all the time in the world back there, and he still gets a few. You know what? I think it's time we bring in a blitz. It's gonna pay off. So we are about to get the ball back, but on the return, unfortunately, Courtney Crutchfield isn't as good as what we had last year. I am already missing Jordan Anthony. We're going to start this drive with a speed option. Amarian Peterson will get us the first down. He's already 9 carries deep, and this is just the second quarter, so we're going to need to sub him out. Ricky Hunt Jr. is not too bad, which is why we're going to let him take this one and get us past midfield. Both of those players transferred in for better playing time opportunities. The second we put Malachi Nelson in a position, though, where he's got to throw the rock, it just goes downhill. He couldn't even scramble there, which I thought he might be able to, so we're just going to throw it up to Andy Jean. They pop it out. And everything was going smooth while we were running the football, which means we should have stuck with it. It's all good, though. There's plenty of time left in this game. They are going to get an easy 15, 20. When all along, I thought we were about to play that and knock the ball loose. He's still up. Thankfully, we knock him down. Tight end Ryan Vagana was looking to get a huge play versus us. There's our first sack. I love seeing sophomore Derek Simmons just getting to the quarterback. There's no way we gave that up. We got 2 guys standing around there. Arkansas's got a lot of things that we still got to fix. On third down, though, we can make the tackle. And we're going to have to get very aggressive here. I'm actually going to back up Selden Bridgens a little bit just in case they decided that they wanted to throw it deep. But we just couldn't get the Red Raiders off of the field, and they're about to score another touchdown. I think we should switch things up and go with some man-to-man coverage. See if we can force their freshman quarterback into a mistake. They just had to use their final timeout. And if he makes a mistake here, taking another sack or throwing it in bounds, they're not getting points. I don't know if they're going to get this spike off or not. They got up to the line so quick. With 1 second left, though, it's about to be 17-7. This has not been a great first half for us. There's still an opportunity for us to bounce back. To do so, though, we need to come out extremely strong in this third quarter where, I mean, they did a lot just to get 5 yards. Quentin Joyner's a solid running back. Not going to be one of the best ones we face all year, but I can't say anything bad about him because he just gets a screen pass that he's going to take for like 30 yards. Not what you want to see. We have to hold Texas Tech to a field goal here, and they might just be gone. Come on, bring him down. We force a fumble, and we recover it. I got so excited I accidentally called a timeout. Watch our lone 5-star recruit from last season, though, Tim Ball, just punch that ball out. He is already making an impact for the Razorbacks, and let's go ahead, have a good drive, get this back within a possession. I was a little bit worried about Amarian Peterson's health. I'm not going to be for any longer. If I need to, I will run this kid into the ground. We're just trying to make sure that we pick up a first. Like I said, I wish he was a little bit quicker, so with some of these halfback stretches, we could go for big gains. He has me nervous to even try and outrun guys to the outside, but he's going to find the gap there, which is nice. We still have a long way to go. 67 yards down the field. I was trying to follow our blockers. Now we're going to let Malachi Nelson throw the football again, which is going to result in like a 15-yard gain. Jalen Brown jukes out 2 guys. Maybe Malachi's starting to get a little bit more comfortable back there, which is exactly what we needed. Once again, Jalen Brown getting disrespected on the outside. They have help over there, but we don't care. We do not care. He is going to drop the football. That was what we needed. We took the shot. They gave us what we wanted. It's okay, though. We're still running well. You could say just give it to Amarian Peterson until they prove to stop him, but I want to keep them on their toes. If they know that we're just going to run every play, it's not going to work as well for us. All of a sudden, it is 3rd and 11 where we're going to get this out. But now we have a tough decision to make, and Andy Jean and Jalen Brown are my 2 reads if it's zone coverage. If it's man-to-man, it's going to be a little bit harder. He dropped that? That is our best receiver, not even holding on to the football. I don't know why he just dropped that there, but Texas Tech might just run away with it now. Here's the thing, though. The biggest issue with Jalen Brown, besides not being able to use his left hand, is we weren't able to upgrade a lot of his catching stats. That's what caused that drop, giving the Red Raiders the full chance to just seal this game. I know we could have played better. That is not a question. It's going to be 3rd and 2. But either way, it's setting up to be a pretty long year for us. And the freshman quarterback is getting loose where we might not catch him. I just tried to hit stick him, and we bumped him in instead. That might be it for us. We'll see what type of look they're giving Jalen Brown over there. I can't believe they have done it again. Jalen Brown is our only hope this entire year. He might have had an extremely rough drop that has hurt us, but he's also the only reason that we're about to have 14 points in this game. I feel like once teams get more tape on him, though, and they see how many times he's beaten guys over the top, they'll definitely adjust to it. Texas Tech has just been playing without a care in the world. Come on, boys. We are letting them dominate this battle up front, which is why I got a lot more aggressive on this play. I'd say that worked out pretty well. Halfback screen isn't going to get them much. In fact, it lost them a good amount of yards, and now they're going over the top where they catch it. I backed up sophomore cornerback Jaden Allen and everything. What hurt us, though, was the kid only has 88 speed, and now they're trying to run. On 3rd and 3, they've come out in a goal line set where we are just run committing up the middle. We almost gave it up still. But guess what? We didn't. There's still 4 minutes left, and it's only a 2-possession game. The comeback hopes are not over yet. Andy Jean back there to return for us. Not anywhere for him to go. It'll be very interesting to see how Malachi Nelson can respond here. Jaden Platt is not catching that. In fact, I'm not sure the tight end's caught anything in this game so far. It's about to be 3rd and 10, where Malachi Nelson trying to make a play back there. He's no Taylon Green, though. Last year, Taylon Green would have been able to do something with that. Instead, 4th down, we're just going to have to make the catch. And Robinson does. He keeps us in it. Zay Robinson, the freshman, is trying to earn himself some more playing time. We needed that so bad. And underneath, he's going to be able to get the easiest catch of his life. This game is still not over. That's all that we can ask for. Malachi Nelson hits Andy Jean on a crosser, who is going to the 5. And I think a halfback screen touchdown to Amarian Peterson could be the second one he's gotten off of it on the day as he's pushed in. What I just realized, though, is when I got excited earlier on in this game, I used a timeout, leaving us with just 2 right now, and the need to really get a stop where I thought we just forced a fumble, but instead, we need to get him out of bounds. I don't know how they got out of there, but why are they throwing the football? I feel like they just knew that we were committing to the run heavily there. This one's over. We're out of timeouts. All they have to do is take a knee. At least we were able to compete with the team that just won the national championship, so we don't know how this will affect the rest of our season. If we are not able to get our championship contender grade up before the end of the year, though, Malachi Nelson is for sure going to leave us. With both of the 5-star quarterbacks we were targeting already locking us out, that's not great news. And for the rest of our recruiting battles, we won't know how we're going to do for them until we get farther into the year, which is why we're about to play against top 25 team Memphis at home. Last season, we didn't have an issue beating the Tigers, but they were able to get a little bit better. The overall calculations in this game are extremely misleading. Our rosters are incredibly similar. Maybe Malachi Nelson won't have a quarterback collapse this time, though. If he has too many this season, I have no issue giving somebody else a chance. You know, for someone to go from USC to Boise State to UTEP, I should have known we would run into problems like this. It's already 3rd and 12. And we're going to go underneath where we have an open receiver, but we can't get off a juke. We just got held to a 3-and-out where we had negative yards. We couldn't even get a positive yard against Memphis. Not great. Meanwhile, their quarterback, Arrington Maiden's coming off of a generational game. He's going to be looking to keep that up this week as he's already getting it going through the air. Now, I see a lot of RPOs early on. That is something I do believe we could make a play on with Isaac Smith, our best player on this defense, but we should have been there to stop the run. What I've done is I've told our defense to focus on the quarterback for some of these runs, which is why Tavian Wallace was there to make the play. The sophomore linebacker continues to improve, which is nice, but we just had that guy fully wrapped up. It's clear to me that Bill Davis is going to be running pretty hard against us, and what have we done? What have we done? No quarterback spy, easiest touchdown of his life. I'm going to try to get Jalen Brown going early here, as he is going to turn the corner and get us 12. They're being a bit smarter with how they're guarding him, though. He's not getting those press looks. We're at least starting to put something together, and that is going to be a nice-sized hole for Amarian. We'll keep on going with some of these halfback dives if we need to. There's no reason for us to try and pass it deep at the moment. Little jet touch pass action. Going to get us like 6 or 7 more. And we were just waiting for this look. Jalen Brown, one-on-one. There's safety help back there, which means we're going to try and hit Jaden Platt. Maybe Malachi Nelson will actually be able to hook up with him on this play. I mean, that last throw was just ridiculous. Is it the best idea to go for it on 4th and 3? Probably not, but we did. And that is when Ricky Hunt Jr. is going to get free as we are going to tie things back up at 7-7. What a play. That motion completely confused Memphis there. But there's a drop. All right, we're starting to put some pressure on the Tigers. I thought we might as well bring in a blitz that they're going to get the throw out of. Arrington Maiden truly has been impressive so far, and we might be giving up a deep touchdown if Hunter isn't able to get over to that ball and knock it out. That's what we get for committing to some shorter passes. To be fair, though, we just sent 4 players, and they had way too much time back there. So that's not necessarily on our coverage. Jaden Platt gonna get something going. And now we're gonna hit them with the option as well, where we got an extra block from our tight end. So we'll take 7 yards. We're gonna keep it pretty aggressive, and we're gonna come out here making them drop a lot of players back. It's nice to see a team that's scared of us throwing the ball deep. Since they have to respect it, I think it's gonna make it easier to run. Amarian Peterson currently has 5 carries for 7 yards though. And that's the look. That's the look. They were pressing, but that time they were able to lock up, and we're trying to fit it in that window to Jaylen Brown. You know, maybe we were a little bit too harsh on Malachi Nelson. He's just starting to get a little bit more comfortable as he's going to take this one in himself. And that is going to light up this fan base again. Due to the nature of the play that we gave up, though, unfortunately, our stadium pulse not making a big impact. The fans have not forgotten the massive touchdown on a 3rd and long. But as we get them to a 2nd and 8, fans starting to get a little bit more into it. Then freshman Jordan Crawford gets the sack. It's 3rd and 13. But where is our pressure? It's a fumble. We scoop up the fumble. Tavion Wallace going to be gone to the crib. What a defensive play. The sophomore linebacker scoops it up, and Arkansas just got to 21 points already. What a play. I mean, Carmichael Glass hits him first. He sets up Tavion to just nail the kid, and then he immediately locates the ball, scoops that up. That was easily a top 5 defensive play I've ever had on this game. And I am sitting here wondering why our crowd's not more into it. Our stadium pulse should be blasting right now. We have been able to get right back into it. Jordan Crawford gets himself another sack, and we have already gotten 3 in this game. You know, after our loss to Texas Tech to open up the year, I was a little bit concerned. Last season, we started with 5 wins before we lost 6 straight, so we at least had a lot of hope at first. This year was looking a lot differently. It had me very concerned, but now I'm starting to feel a lot better as Jaden Platt's at the 3rd. We have 9 SEC games this year instead of 8. So that's why for these non-conference ones, we've got to have success. We just needed to get more time there, though. On 3rd down, there's one receiver we're staring, and Courtney Crutchfield comes up clutch. Malachi Nelson had that all planned out from the start. An injury timeout to our center, though, means we're not going to have a single player that's a senior out there on the field. And we're also not taking as much time off the clock now. I wanted this to be the final drive of the first half. It still probably will be. Amarian Peterson with the speed boost. I was content settling for a field goal, just making this one a 2-possession game. We've gotten our chance to score, though. This is the play that got us that first touchdown. We're going to see if it works again. And Ricky Hunt Jr. hangs on. As we start this 3rd quarter, you know what we need. We need that defensive stop. We've gotten the Tigers completely shook up. They're going for another halfback screen, and it's just not working. It is now 3rd and 10. Everybody's dropping back, and it looks like Isaac Smith was in the way. Though if the Memphis quarterback and receiver were on the same page, I feel like that pass was put about where it needed to be. We were blocking there too. Oh well, we didn't need to get a big return on the punt there. We just need to be a lot smarter about how we handle this drive. Amarian Peterson still on his feet. Field goal range is nice. I would love a 3-possession lead. This play looks like it's going to be absolute chaos for the defense to keep up with, which it was. Jaden Platt runs under the football, and on 3rd and 4, we're trusting Courtney Crutchfield to hang on. You know, Malachi Nelson struggled against the former national champions, but he's made a name for himself today. I love to see this type of redemption arc out of the former 5-star. There were talks about if he'd even make it as our starter the rest of this entire year. They were valid conversations too. He just did not look ready this past week. But now our defense has come to play. And so is he, which has made this offense look so much better than it did last week. Without having to play from behind, there's so much less pressure, which is really nice. We're just going to have to line up a big hit. And it just feels like Memphis is giving up in the 3rd quarter. We're going to continue to run the football, even if Amarian Peterson currently has 10 rushes for 18 yards. And then before our next play, we weren't able to get off the snap in time, which means we're probably giving it back to them. I think that is the first delay of game that we've had in this series, but it's not going to matter if they don't care to keep up with Jaylen Brown. Just giving us an extra few plays makes such a massive difference, and we lateraled it back to an offensive lineman. That ball was supposed to go to Amarian Peterson. I'm not quite sure what we were thinking there, but we've continued to move the chains. And look at this disrespect on Jaylen Brown. I'll take the chance. One-on-one. Let's give it to him. Let's give it to him. He dropped it. You know, you gotta respect it out of Malachi Nelson. He's played a great game for us, and freshman kicker Josh Neiman is gonna miss the first kick of his career. At the end of the day, it's really not gonna matter too much. Their offense just looked atrocious. Arrington Maiden came out so strong in this game, and then he just regressed as it went on, but that's great news for us. I'm really hoping Malachi Nelson can keep this up. That's the quarterback that we were all hoping to get whenever we got him out of the portal, and just looking at some of these battles so far, I think as long as we keep winning, we put some of these 4-stars on a good visit, we're going to be able to win a lot of the battles. Greg Gage at quarterback over Devonta Worthy so far, but he might not even be our answer at the quarterback position, because I have discovered 5-star Jonathan Olszewski from Mesa, Arizona. Nobody seems to want him. There's something going on behind the scenes that makes him unattractive. I don't care what he did though, he can beat those allegations. All we want is a quarterback that could shine for us, so I'm willing to take the chance on him if it can bring the Razorbacks back to glory. As for our last non-conference game of the season against Boise State, this is a team that was ranked to start the year, but they're coming off of a loss at number 2 Oregon by 8 points, which was not a bad loss. They played them very well, and clearly if the fans are sitting out there in their striped shirts, then this is an important game to them. It's their season opener here at home, and that's a good look at our defensive back room. For their first play, I'm hoping they can throw us a pick. And that's what they've done. They've thrown it straight to Carmichael Glass. I didn't think that we'd actually be able to call that. I was just hopeful because they were showcasing some of the defensive backs out there that could get stops. We have been set up to win this game right off the start. What a run from Amarian Peterson. We might as well just start accidentally calling him Adrian Peterson. And are we going to be able to force another pick? Tavion Wallace steps up, and he misses his hit stick. I think Mississippi State's still on our schedule, but outside of that, this is technically the easiest game that we have on there. So ideally, we can just close this one out in the first half. Although I feel like it's going to be a long shot, I still have hopes that we can get to 8 wins this season. I just know what we got coming up on our schedule. Maddox Madsen drops back to pass, and he tries to throw it to us. Now that he's a senior, this should be the best season that he has ever been able to have. On 3rd and 6, he's going to have multiple options to throw to, but he takes the sack. I really like what I'm seeing so far. We're just going to let this punt go in the back of the end zone. And I think what I figured out pretty quickly on our last drive was running the football is going to go well. We just got to keep on believing in Amarian Peterson, wait for those blocks to line up. And the great thing about Malachi Nelson is he could also keep it, though we just fumbled. I'll admit that was the wrong read. We're going to see if they have any safety help over the top. It looks like they're not going to have safety help over the top, so we'll take Jalen Brown. It's been interesting to see that a lot of teams just don't respect the kid. Maybe the SEC teams will, though. Amarian Peterson with another hole. He just can't get all the way in. That is fine. Sam Pittman has decided we're going to do 4 straight quarterback sneaks until he gets in. Malachi Nelson puts us up 14-0, and he is facing off against his former team that would not start him, so he has a lot to prove in this game, though Boise State is all of a sudden at the 30. Just like that, the Broncos feel like they have life. They feel like they have a chance in this matchup. But it's still pretty early on in this game. We bit down with Isaac Smith, and it still gave them enough time to complete the pass. I really thought we had everything covered. That was a great play from Maddox Madsen, though. Keith Adams Jr. is staying on his feet. He does not want to go down, but we're going to run commit and still get nothing. It is still scarred in my brain from when we blew a 24-0 lead last season, so being up by 14 is nothing. I do think this speed option could work out really well for us though, and it's going to, but we just didn't hang on to our block for long enough. I feel like we have done enough in this matchup though for them to be scared of us running play action. Malachi Nelson is going to complete it to Jalen Brown. Our offense is truly shining so far. They're starting to come down a lot harder on some of our carries though, which is why I'm glad that we busted this one off. On 3rd and 5, I'm not sure if we're going to hit Courtney Crutchfield or not. I think we might as well give the kid a chance to make a play. And this could come back to bite us. We'd be giving them great field positioning if we're not able to pick up this 4th and 4. But Malachi Nelson escapes the pressure, and he can't find Jalen Brown. That was a great setup. It wasn't even that challenging of a throw to hit. He was so open there that we didn't even need to lead him, but we still tried to. And it's about to be 3rd and 8. It's a good thing Boise State doesn't have Ashton Genty. That would make them a lot harder to stop. We're giving Isaac Smith a chance to get his first pick. There's no excuses for dropping that ball, though. He is a 93. Oh, well, at least we were able to get the stop. Let's make this the final drive of the first half. That is the goal. We're going to pull it, and Malachi Nelson has nowhere to go. If this is cover 3, Zay Robinson should be open with the fake screen wheel, but Malachi Nelson just misses him. The window to throw that ball was very tight, but a good quarterback makes that throw most of the time. Compared to Taylor Green last season, I feel like Malachi Nelson is on a pretty similar level, which is why we should have known better there. We set our own selves up for failure. Just like that, Boise State is already gonna score their second touchdown, and it is all tied up at 14. This is a game that looked like we were just gonna run away with it, but now I want to score. I can't remember who got ball first, but if we don't score to end this first half, I'm not going to be feeling too good. I would just really like to have a lead, and I was scared to try and hit the seam with Malachi Nelson. He made a play on the ground with his legs, though. We are going to have this seam to Courtney Crutchfield here, and there's still about 20 seconds left in this first half. We used the play action. I'm not sure why, but he's going to have a chance on the ground with his legs to go all the way to the end zone. He really is Taylor Green 2.0. We've gotten the ball to start this second half too, but the run going nowhere on the ground. Man-to-man coverage. We'll try and take the comeback to Andy Jean. It pays off. Amarian Peterson, though, getting no chance. Our offensive line's just not supporting him very well. We're going to have to juke out both of those defenders. And this is one of my favorite plays to scheme up as we look to hit our tight end. But we're going to fumble it even. If halfback Ricky Hunt Jr. just picked up the guy that he needed to block there, we would have had enough time. That's why Malachi Nelson was even stepping up in the pocket in the first place. What's one thing we've not done a great job of, though? Bring in the blitz. So I tried to bring in some more pressure here. We didn't get our hands up. Isaac Smith was so close to pulling that off, but he has to be a little bit quicker. A little bit of a sell from Malachi Nelson there. He's just going to go short, which did not work out. And on 3rd and 7, we're going with cover 4 in the end zone, which doesn't matter if he can just run it in. Boise State is not going to make this game easy for us to win. You've seen how we've not run the ball that well. We started off getting whatever we wanted on the ground, and ever since, it's just been a disaster. That can't be a read from Malachi Nelson. He is forcing it when he shouldn't. He's crumbling. The glaze has stopped so quickly as Boise State's about to take the lead. The real question is going to be, can Arkansas bounce back from this? Can we still overcome this bad play and win this game? I really don't know. They're just going to sneak it in. Momentum is not on our side at all. Malachi Nelson, do not throw an interception here, buddy. Just hook up with Jaden Platt. When running the football no longer works, what do? You literally just throw it every single time. Amarian Peterson, though, has just not shown up for like the last 2 quarters. I'm not sure what's going on in his head. He literally rushed for like 70 yards off the rip and has done nothing since. On 2nd and 8, they got some man-to-man coverage out there, and I think we're going to outrun this kid. But since we didn't, we are setting up to punt. It's 3rd and 8. Ricky Hunt Jr. is going to be missed. Malachi! I can't do it. Malachi Nelson is selling so hard. We could have had a first down. Instead, we're just going to have to kick a field goal, and Josh Neiman misses. This has turned into a complete disaster. Maddox Madsen's making us look like a fool. I can't believe I thought this was just going to be an easy win, and now things have fallen apart. He's about to try and hand this one off, and they got 5 yards out of it. Clearly, our defense still has a lot to improve upon. On 3rd and 9, they're just going to have some quick out routes, but we gave it up. They might as well just take the touchdown here. We're not going to stop them. I don't even know who we face after this, but we better be able to do something right. If we don't perform well there, we're just going to fall to 1 and 3. And come on, hold him short. Hold him short. Okay, just like against Texas Tech, there is still hope. There's 4.5 minutes left. We're going to need a fast touchdown, though. And can we pull that off? I'm not sure. Andy Jean gets open. He's at midfield. Due to the home field advantage for Boise State, none of the plays I'm calling are working, but we just tried to take the top off. I really like that look for us, and we're just going to have our drag, Jaylen Brown, step out of bounds and keep the clock stopped. We saw what happened against Texas Tech, where when we were trying to make our comeback, we needed more time. Getting a defensive stop can be really challenging. We've not run the ball at all, so I thought we might be able to surprise him here. Instead, though, it's 4th and 2. And he's not open. I don't know why. I just forced it. It's over. We're going to lose to Boise State. We're about to fall to 1 and 2. Arkansas has a big gap to overcome to have success the rest of this year. Malachi Nelson did not do well having a lead, that's for sure. Right now, Boise State is feeling like they made the right decision moving on from him. And why are they getting so much time back there? We improved our defensive line. By the time we stopped Boise State, made them take a field goal, there's 16 seconds left. And to come back down by 13 points, we need to somehow score very quick. Jaylen Brown's getting his chance. We're just sending it up to him and hoping that he can somehow pull off a miracle. That's going to do it, though. There was no way that we were actually going to pull that off. It's just really scary how they shut down our offense in that second half. And Brady Hart, the pocket passing freshman quarterback who cares about playing time, is all of a sudden looking like someone that we might give a shot later in the year. Malachi Nelson's going to want to transfer out anyway. He doesn't see the potential that Arkansas has, so we'll give him another game or two. If we don't win, you know what's happening. And look at the gauntlet of teams we are about to face in a row. We have to go to the Swamp, number 7 Florida, then number 9 Texas A&M, then number 3 Georgia on the road, then we have LSU, the Rivalry, then we have to play at number 14 Oklahoma, then we have to play at Texas, then against number 19 Ole Miss, before we get Mississippi State and Missouri to end the year. That means to make it to a bowl game this season, between this Florida and Ole Miss stretch, we're going to have to be able to beat 3 of these teams. I really don't think Mississippi State and Missouri will be that challenging, despite that they both have a better record than us. It's just such a gauntlet playing in the SEC, especially when teams like Kentucky and Vanderbilt are also good. At least on the recruiting front, Jeff Bobo seems like nobody else wants the kid from Arkansas, so we should get that gem at receiver. And there's other players that we're in first place for. We've been able to hard sell on them. I'm liking how most of our class is shaping up. Besides the quarterback position, this is still going to be a really hard battle. Since both of them are interested in playing time and that grade is currently a D, it's going to make it hard for us to hard sell. We're going to have to continue to send the house. And the reason playing time's a D is because Jonathan Olszewski currently is on our board and he's a better overall, but we're not going to be able to hard sell on him yet, and Nebraska's given us some competition. It's currently super challenging to have any positive takeaways about this program, but if we could go into the Swamp, if we could upset the Gators and shock the world, that would start to turn around our season at least a little bit. You also have to consider the other way that this could go, a very quick blowout that we aren't able to come back from. We saw it happen a couple of times in season 1 where we went down early and there was no overcoming it. Jaylen Brown, though, on the opening kickoff, is not going to be able to outrun number 1, I don't think. He might be gone still, and he is in the end zone. We have silenced this crowd before we could even take an offensive snap. The funniest part about all of that is Jaylen Brown was not in for the kick return. He hasn't been all year. It was actually junior wide receiver C.J. Brown. He only has 90 speed, so I just had to assume that was Jaylen Brown with how quick that we felt there. But Tim Ball is going to have to make a play because they've gotten a huge game. We have to face DJ Lagway at his best, at his most experienced. That is terrifying for me, and they are just slinging the rock. I feel like it's going to be hopeless to get the Gators off of the field a lot in this football game. Their running back, Jaden Ball, is coming off of a 151-yard game last week. And so far, he's setting himself up to do it again. We really need to hold the Gators down on this part of the field. We're going for some hit sticks. And I have a quarterback spy out there in case they decided to try and scramble. A quick screen pass ends all hope. We're going to get the ball back with our first offensive play. There's literally just nowhere to run the football, so we're already going to go through the air. And a quick throw out to Courtney Crutchfield will get us close to the marker. If I've learned anything from the computer, it's that going for QB sneaks on 3rd and inches is probably the smartest thing you can do. I just want to be able to run this football against the Gators in this game, though. They're not going to make that easy. We're going to hit them with play action where we just went to the wrong read. The Gators are ranked 7th in the country. Their Stadium Pulse ranked 7th in the country. And what is Malachi Nelson doing there? We've got to be able to hit that throw. It wasn't a difficult one. Now they got the ball back with no problems. I knew that this schedule was going to be absolutely miserable to play against. But the worst part about a lot of these games is you end up getting some hope just off of a few plays. Then over time that hope dwindles away and you have to be content with the fact that you're probably not going to be able to pull it off. This run game from the Gators has just been extremely hard for us to stop. It's the problem with the formation that we run. It's not great at stopping the run. In a 4-2-5, we have 2 linebackers out there on the field. Here on 2nd and 12, they're just going to get a quick throw out that they're able to take for a massive gain. Selman Bridges might have been able to track him down, and we might be getting in there. But we still need to be able to hold on for 2 more plays. I don't know if they're going to run it on 3rd and goal. I have a quarterback spy out there ready to guard DJ Lagway, which ended up being smart. But how are we about to do offensively? Are we going to be able to move the ball versus the Gators? Are we going to get some holes for us to hit? It's like you see them there, but then they collapse by the time that you'd ever get in. which is why we're going underneath to Marion Peterson. We can mix in a read option too and get almost nothing. The Gators' front four has been giving us a lot of problems so far. Now on 3rd and 7, they only got 3, which is why I'm going to step up and scramble and just get it on the ground. So far, we're taking a decent amount of time with this drive. Jaden Platt isn't fast enough to outrun everybody, but he has set us up nicely to just hand this next one off, and Marion Peterson might get his biggest carry of the year as he's in the end zone. We needed that so badly. Just to hand off to Jaden's not surprising. He's really been more of this offense than anything that DJ Lagway's done so far, but this kid's almost unstoppable. The breakaway speed that we know Jace Brown has at receiver, their slot, is absolutely terrifying. He's that kid that turned a 5-yard drag into a 30-yard gain earlier on. And here we go. It's 3rd and 10. Hopefully, DJ Lagway doesn't just complete the easiest pass of all time. I guess our pass coverage stats simply aren't good enough. Oh well, it's now 2nd and 12, and they just ran the ball again. I've got everybody dropping back. We're on Tim Ball, the 5-star corner. He's not going to make a play, but they're getting held to 3. Never mind. They have absolutely no respect. They're going for it on 4th and 4, which just seems crazy to me. I thought we had the pick. Either way, though, knocking that down, massive deal. We are out there with Malachi Nelson trying to pick up a few more yards. That could have been a safety, which is why I have decided that we're just going to hand the ball off and take this one to the end of the half. Somehow, we have a lead at the Swamp over number 7 Florida. It really comes back to that kick return to start the game, because if you look at our offensive stats, it's not been great. I'm not sure coming out in a dime formation is the best way to start this second half. You know that they're going to run it, which is why we've brought everybody down, and now they're going to be able to just abuse Tim Ball. He's not playing like a 5-star. What are we doing? That is so disappointing. It was 2 plays. That was all it took for them to score. Instantly, 2nd and 13. Absolutely nothing going on the ground there. It's about to be 3rd and 7. Where guess what? We're going to look for Andy Jean on the drag. If it's there, we should be able to take it, and he's going to get us just enough. All right, it's a new set of downs. Malachi Nelson handling things pretty well. I just wish some of these carries could get us some bigger gains. There's nowhere for Marion to go. Once again, Andy Jean is going to be responsible for helping us move the chains, and he is able to. So that's nice. We're getting closer and closer to field goal range. We actually have the perfect setup for the RPO here. We wanted them to bite down. Courtney Crutchfield needs to make a defender miss, which he does. And the drive stays alive. Now we got to carry for Marion Peterson. Going, fighting. He's got 10 rushes for 60 yards. Now, obviously, a lot of that's come on just a few of these plays. But if we don't keep giving him the opportunity to get those, he's never going to have a chance for those bigger gains. 3rd and 6, pretty big deal. We're either going to look for Jaden Platt or Marion. Marion's wide open here, but he's going to have to reach for the first. And I will trust Malachi Nelson to pick up the quarterback sneak on 4th and inches. We have the numbers here. He gets enough. This has been quite the drive for us. Way different than Florida's drive to start this 3rd quarter. We bounce it to the outside of Marion's in the end zone. And the Razorbacks have still not given up on the upset. We just have to have an answer for stopping this Gators running game, though, or their passing game. DJ Lagway has made 0 mistakes so far. I really don't know if zone coverage is the answer, but man-to-man coverage might not be the answer either. They have just split our zones, and we missed the hit stick trying to knock the ball loose. It's so disheartening to spend all of that time driving down the field and then for it to be erased in a few plays. We have to do it again, though, and we're going to have a first carry for like 2 yards. It's crazy to see they've thrown for over 200 more than us, but I think that's the reason that we're even still in this one in the first place. I'll take a first. They've not been pressing Jalen Brown, but I did want to mix in a play action just to see what we could do with it. Malachi Nelson is going to get us almost a first, too. Back-to-back plays with pretty big gains for us. We're going to hand this off on the read option no matter what. Now look at their 3-man front. We're going for a halfback draw, whether it's going to work or not. Marion, difficult, very difficult to bring down. He is having the game of his life right now, but I'm trying to audible. I wanted to go deep to Jalen Brown, but the audible just was not going through, which is why we have come out with 4 verticals here, and it's not necessarily open. I'll just throw it short. That was a risk that has not paid off. They were guarding Andy Jean, and all of a sudden it's 3rd and 10 in the Swamp. 5 minutes left. Do we have what it takes here? That's a solid throw. He hangs on. You know, Malachi Nelson has really played well in this game for a guy that had his job on the line. It's like every other game, we get a solid performance out of him. Marion Peterson with the chance to go inside the red zone. With 4 minutes left in this game, I feel like we should be able to tie things up here. That's a huge running lane for Marion. He's in the end zone. And this is the kid that we are putting our entire season on. You have to wonder, does our defense have what it takes to get a stop. I'm really not seeing it so far, but we're going to hold up on the run. Making it 2nd and 12. We switched over to man-to-man coverage there, and I actually liked how it was looking. Here, we're going to get our hands on him. It's going to be 3rd and 10. Calling man-to-man coverage 3 times in a row is risky, especially if we're getting absolutely zero pressure. But it's what's been working for us against the Gators. Maybe if we can hold them up on 2nd and 10, then we drop into zone coverage on 3rd down. We'll be user Tavian Wallace here, who has been our best linebacker throughout the year. And we had it. I got so upset I accidentally called a timeout. And then they tested us, but we missed the SWAT. We missed the SWAT. We had the game. We had someone right there. Selman Bridges is our best cornerback as well, but somehow he didn't get a hand on the ball. This is college football at its finest. You see this happen all the time, but I hate that it's happening to us. We're not going to be able to lean on the run with not that much time left, which is why the plan was just to roll out and hit a Marion Peterson short. The Gators were all over that, though. 2nd and 10, they don't send that many guys, and they still get pressure. It's now 3rd and 14, where we're throwing it, and we're putting that on the money. We just can't catch it. All hope has been erased so fast. 4th and 14. Jaylen Brown, first read. If Jaylen Brown's not there, we're going to throw it straight to him. This is another game that's just going to be a heartbreaker for us that we're not going to win. The only way the Gators mess this up for themselves is if for whatever reason they just decided to pass on one of these downs, but he breaks our first tackle, gets in. We played some of the best football we've played all year, and it just ended up not mattering at all. We knew, though, that this could probably happen. Whenever you're playing at the swamp like this, it's going to be difficult. I was just sending up a prayer. This is a tough way for us to go out, but I think a lot of the blame has to go on our defense. It's not going to go on our offense. We could not stop DJ Lagway. You could say Malachi Nelson's stats weren't that impressive, and a lot of our success did come from a Marion Peterson on the ground. I can't defend Malachi, which is why for our next couple games against number 7 Texas A&M, at number 2 Georgia, we are going to make a switch. We have got to somehow light a spark under this team. Starting Brady Hart, the freshman quarterback, might not do that. I mean, the kid's a pocket passer, but we're just going to give him his chance since he's someone that could stick around for multiple seasons. It's also about time that we have the honest conversation that we're not going to get Devonta Worthy. We're just not going to beat out South Carolina, so he's off of our board. I also don't know if we're going to beat out Nebraska for the 5-star. The thing is, with Greg Gage, we could go all in on this kid. We could get that playing time school grade to a higher spot, and then we could hard sell to have some success. Apparently, removing him from our board, though, only gets this playing time to C-, which means I guess we can put him back on there. And I'm going to schedule him for a visit in week 7 against LSU, which would still get him to commit if we somehow won. With all that recruiting stuff out of the way, it's time to hop into the Southwest Classic against a team that is better than us on paper, with our backup quarterback getting a chance to start. We've put Brady Hart in a really hard spot, but he said he's coming into this game confident. Apparently, we're facing off against a quarterback that is in the Heisman Trophy race. Chase Jenkins is just a 76 overall, but the team around him so good it doesn't matter. And I can just tell this might be a long one for us. We need him to make some mistakes, though, and he is. We've already been able to force them into a 3rd and 10 where he's just going to keep the rock and get nothing. Tavian Wallace was not getting fooled there. We're going to run this to the other side of the field as well, but we can't get around everybody. It's time for freshman Brady Hart to take the field. The only thing that'll change with our offense is he's not a rushing threat, so he's going to be handing off the ball every time, which didn't really work out there. We've already resorted to him throwing it. Of course, there's going to be a flag. He had a clean pocket, but it was because we were holding. So on 2nd down, we're just going to hand it off again and go nowhere. Marion Peterson's not having too much success so far. We're just going to see if he can complete this pass, which he does on the money to Jaylen Brown. The placement on that one was remarkable, and that's a great way for the freshman to get things going. I'm noticing a lot of our rushes on the ground just aren't working that well, which is why we just decided to throw the ball there. It wasn't there, but we find Courtney Crutchfield. I mean, that is back-to-back times we're on 3rd down. Brady Hart came up clutch. I feel like the guys around him, though, are just holding him back. We cannot continue to have some of these drops. 3rd and 6. They bring in the blitz, and we are going to have Jaden Platt, who goes to the 5. It is time to just punch this one in if there's anywhere for a Marion to run. Our offensive line is just getting folded in this game so far. I was trying to throw the RPO, but without being able to get it out, we're most likely just going to get held to a field goal, especially since that wasn't the best of passes. Here's a level of aggression, though, I was not expecting. We're going to go for it on 4th and goal. Just because it's Texas A&M and we had X open, I hit the wrong button. That could literally cost us the game. It ended up being the right decision to go for it. You cannot miss out on points like that. We've gotten so aggressive trying to stop them here, and I don't think we're going to get back to that ball. We get back to it anyway. Hunter makes a play on it, and Hunter is going to go potentially all the way. He stopped. Either way, Kelvin Hunter has saved us. We're in a very similar position to what we were just dealing with, and the Jut touch pass to Courtney Crutchfield puts us up 7-0. It is almost like that failed 4th down attempt didn't even happen. On 2nd and 6, it's a handoff, and we're wrapping them up for a 2-yard loss. I'm telling you, Derek Simmons on that edge has been amazing for us. Here we go. We're going to give up multiple slants, though. What are our zones doing? We have linebackers that are supposed to be playing low there. They've gotten us with this play action completely, which is why they're at the 37. We're just going to quickly switch over to man-to-man coverage here, hoping that it can help us stop some of the runs. That's somewhere where the Aggies haven't succeeded much, but they keep on going back to it. And here's another one. We can't force the fumble. I wonder if that's why Chase Jenkins is currently in the Heisman race, because he's been able to run for touchdowns. That would make some sense to me. It typically inflates how a quarterback does. The blocks are great here. We should prevent him from getting the first. But Isaac Brown, transfer from Louisville, scares me back there, and they're going to have to settle for 3. All right, so far, so good. What I'll say, though, is on our last drive, there were a lot of 3rd downs I wasn't sure if we were going to convert on. Avoiding those is going to be really important if we're going to be able to score again. Jaden Platt dropping that, though, is just ridiculous. Brady Hart going for a huge throw on 3rd and 6. We want to snap this ball really quick. We don't want anybody reviewing whether or not that was a catch. And look at Marion Peterson juking to the outside, stiff arming a kid. There is life again for Arkansas football. Our offense making stuff happen. On 2nd and 12, we're going to get the drag out quick. We're going to hope that we can pick up a blocker for Courtney Crutchfield. And we could settle for a field goal on this drive if we really wanted to, or we could get Jay Robinson underneath in the end zone. We have desperately needed a performance like this out of this team this season, where we just come out strong, we play well, and we continue to hopefully lock down. We're going to have to send some guys, though, and try and take off his head. That was almost really bad for Jenkins. 3rd down. He's just going to take a shot down the field that we're going to knock away. And we're getting the ball back with a few minutes left in this first half. If we get a big return out of this too, we're in a great spot. We're about to get a little less aggressive because we're already up by 11. What I really don't want is Texas A&M being able to score to end this first half. Though I will say it's looking like they're about to get this ball back. On 3rd down, it's an overthrow. And it's going to be tipped into a pick, so they're starting at the 40. That one's on Brady Hart. He's had a good game, but you can't make that mistake. It's going to be 2nd and 10, where they have multiple guys open. If they just take their running back that we left right there, they're easily going to get the first down. But they should not still be on their feet. I guess that's why I'm scared of Isaac Brown, though. Running cover 2-man is what we're going to stick with, though. And it's just not working. We might even start calling timeouts, whether or not they get in the end zone, just to get the ball back. I have a quarterback spy out there on the field in case they try and scramble here. And they're going to test us, but it's off target. Here we go. 3rd and goal. We're stuck on the quarterback spy. We're going to have to send somebody, and it looks like we're going to get that sack. Whenever it comes to Tavian Wallace, he truly does carry this defense. After Brady Hart's interception, though, I'm still going to not lose faith in him. I'm going to let him try and sling this rock, which is going to result in another pick. This is a collapse. This is a collapse to end the first half. He's no different than Malachi Nelson. It doesn't matter what quarterback we have out there. We just gave them another 3 free points for no reason at all. As long as we don't give up a touchdown, it's going to be okay. It's just so sad. And getting that sack actually caused them to just run out time as they were trying to get their field goal unit on the field. So it's 14-6. We're going to see if Brady Hart can get his confidence back in this second half. If he can't, I might move on from him. Sam Pittman knows how Arkansas fans get. There's a lot on the line. You can't be losing games here with the Razorbacks. We can't fall to 1-4. On 3rd and 1, we just need our blocks to hold up for a little bit, which they did. And Ricky Hunt Jr. is in for this speed option where he's going to catch it and allow us to get 7 more. We were putting way too much pressure on Brady Hart to be throwing the football as much as he was. That is a great pull for a Marion. And we're just going to run that play back. This time, letting Courtney Crutchfield pick up another 20. Still a solid drive to start this 3rd quarter. In fact, I'm looking for some touchdown potential here, depending on how they've matched up against some of our guys. Jaden Platt brings it in. Brady Hart threw him open. He's building up that confidence exactly like what we wanted. And do we think Courtney Crutchfield can get open? If he can get open with this slant, it'd be massive. If not, we'll go underneath. I don't necessarily love that read. We're going to get some zone coverage here. Nope. Man-to-man. But I wanted to center up Josh Neiman, so we could guarantee a field goal. The reason we are in this game in the first place is our defense. As long as we can continue to alleviate pressure off of them to where they don't feel like they have to get a stop, it's good. Just like that, 3rd and 6. We're sitting back, cover 3, and I definitely see some open guys on the field. We're going to need to make this tackle with Hunter, which he barely does. I guess that's what to expect out of sophomore Kelvin Hunter, though, because he has had a pretty good game. Unfortunately, with the position they are in the field, they're probably going to get in. The 2-point conversion is what I'm caring about, though, and I'm not seeing anything open. Just like that, Texas A&M has it within 3, and we're going to go with the halfback toss to the outside that no one blocked on. The Aggies are starting to play like a top 10 team. They weren't earlier on in this game. And I have to wonder if this is quarterback sneak range for us to start the 4th quarter. If Brady Hart doesn't pick it up, we're going to have to punt the ball. But he's 6'4". We have a senior center blocking in front of him, and it's just going to be a fumble. This is awful. We're choking this entire game away. This is Arkansas football at its finest. Is someone over there to make a play on it? We do. This is when we need that stadium pulse to kick in. They're just going to go with the halfback screen, which is fine. We have everybody drop back. They can go with an underneath throw, though we're going to get the sack, which is even better. There's a flag. Okay, it was against the Aggies. There's no reason to worry. I really have to consider what to do with Brady Hart, though. I feel like if I don't let the freshman finish this game, it almost hurts this team more. On 2nd and 9, we're just going to throw our drag, make this a 3rd and manageable. And I was curious how they'd come out to stop us on 3rd and 2. We might have Jaylen Brown deep. If we don't, it looked like we were going to have our drag, but since we don't, we had to throw it to Jaylen Brown, which is going to result in an interception. Malachi Nelson's coming in. Malachi Nelson's earned a spot back. I don't know what that read was. This is absolutely ridiculous. It is clear to me that the freshman was just not ready. We've been playing the best defensive game that we've had all season, and we're still in a bad spot. 3rd and 7. We got the stadium pulse through the roof. Are they going to make a mistake, though? That's what we need, and it looks like we're going to get back to that ball with Hunter. Sophomore Kelvin Hunter is earning his spot as the starter, and an experienced Malachi Nelson is out there on the field to try and help us close out this game. Amarian Peterson gets it. He has the 1st down plus more. I just think the threat of our quarterback keeping it is so powerful in these moments. Malachi is going to fumble, though. What are we doing? We scoop it up. Austin has the 1st. Wait. There was an illegal block in the back. We were so close to being able to seal this game, and then the refs just decided, you know what? We're going to hurt them. We're going to make this harder. We're about to be faced with a 3rd and long unless we can pick up a lot through the air on this play, which we are getting a decent bit with Jaden Platt. On 3rd down, we're going to go back to him, and he catches it. Just like that. What we need out of this play is for it to be like a 5-second one. It wasn't, though, which means we're not going to be able to run this down to the 2-minute warning. We're going to keep the clock running and go to the 30. It's important to keep in mind a 1st down would end this game for us. So we're going to just throw it over to Amarian Peterson. Stay in bounds, buddy. That's it. I don't know why I ever doubted Malachi Nelson when he was out there on the field. He helped us close this one out. And the Southwest Classic is going to go to us this season. We have bounced back. We're 2-3. We didn't win this game last year. Maybe there is still hope that we're going to get to a bowl because we knew that we had to win something like this. Kelvin Hunter with a great game. I think our defense has really just inspired everyone else on this roster. If we look at the current SEC standings, about half the teams in it are ranked at the moment. We're about to play the team on top, 4-0, number 2 Georgia. They've beaten Western Kentucky, Louisville by quite a bit, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt though. So they haven't had too much of a challenge. That's coming up for them later in this season. And as I was just looking around the rest of the country, I saw that Bill Davis had 140 yards on the ground, winning player of the week. So this shows that we were able to lock this kid up. He's a talent that we could handle, though going on the road at the Bulldogs is never going to be fun. After this game, we're going to have guys like Jeff Bobo visiting us next week against rivals LSU. You can see for most of these battles as well, we're still sitting in 1st place. It looks like we're going to be able to win them out. To really pull it off, though, we have to keep on having success on the field. Well, it's about to be a night game here. I have no idea how this is going to go, but if I had to take a wild guess, I could see us having a ton of problems. Malachi Nelson has been trusted with this offense again, though, facing off against a tough D. He's going to try and suck it here with the play action, but no one's really that open except Andy Jean still pulled it in. That's the type of confidence we're going to need out of him to compete with the Bulldogs. He's trying to get more than just a couple. And look at this box we're about to run into. Lots of linebackers, nowhere to go. 3rd and 9 already. Man-to-man coverage, though, with a missed throw from Malachi Nelson where we would have been open. And Gunnar Stockton is still with the Bulldogs with more experience than ever before. We got 84 manned up over on that right side. They're just going to go with an RPO that we cannot guard. Tim Ball might make the tackle, but he was supposed to be over in that area. I'm just disappointed that we have thrown a pick so early on in this game already. And they're hitting us with play action again. They're testing Tavian Wallace, who didn't turn around in time. One of the best players on this defense had a chance to change everything. Instead, Georgia continues to thrive, and they just got free out of nowhere to the 1. Nate Frazier got his first carry of the day, and he had no problems having success. We're not going to let this ruin our day, though. We're going to hit them with one of my favorite plays when it works. Amarian Peterson goes to the 40, 37, and now we're going to run straight into this defense with nowhere to go. I really think we're going to have a hard time establishing the run in this game. We're going to hopefully not fumble. A couple hitch routes are going to be out there on the field for us to take on 3rd down. Andy Jean was the one that was open. After only a couple carries, though, we cannot give up on Amarian Peterson yet, which is why he is a hole to hit here to the 10-yard line. Against these SEC schools, it's probably going to be a lot of like 0, 1-yard carries, and then every so often, he can break off the big one. I'm going to take a shot to the end zone, though, because getting in is going to be a big deal. And if they're going to guard it deep, we throw short to Andy Jean. Not really ideal. We're trying to get Jaylen Brown on a slant, but he's just not hearing it. So we're going to instead have to go over to Platt. And they've hit us mid-throw to force the pick. Of course they're going to be able to take this back too, unless we catch them. Jaylen Brown, come on. What a terrible ending to the first quarter. I don't know how many picks we're going to throw this season, but I'm already feeling like we have thrown too many. We are easily on pace for more than we had in year number 1. And what do you do? What do you do? Georgia's gone. This is what I was afraid would happen. They'd come out super strong, and it would feel almost hopeless super early in this game. Jaylen Brown's a name we've not looked over at for a long time, though, which is why I decided I just want to take a shot down the field and see if he can hang on in the end zone. You know what? We needed that. We needed a big play bad. We had to. It normally wouldn't be the best decision ever, but it paid off for us, and they're just getting a massive gain. I can't stop this Georgia passing attack right now. They're going to mix in a run too. Their offense has easily been the best that we have faced all year, and it continues. I think it's about time that we start coming down for some blitzes, see if we can get them into any mistake. They got us with the play action though, and the RPO leaves them open. I'm not sure how we're going to be able to do anything against them, though we'll take a good pass to Courtney Crutchfield. It threw them off so much they burned a timeout. But again, if getting defensive stops is this bad, I'm not sure how we're ever going to get them off the field. At least we're having a little bit of success offensively. We could have waited to throw it short there. We're just going to have a holding penalty anyway. We might as well force it. I knew it was coming the second we had that much time. But it is what it is. A little bit of a speed option. Get it out to Amarian Peterson and allow him to get us all those yards back. If this is the final drive of the first half, we're not out of this game yet. We're going to get a quick throw to Jay Robinson. And we just got to keep it up with the simple reads. We'll take our drag underneath. We're trying to wait on the block. But even if it wasn't there, 2nd and 8. Keep it with Malachi Nelson. Hold up on your block. Jaylen Brown does that for a little bit longer, and we easily get in there. It hurts to see, but at the end of the day, we're going to have Jaden Platt wide open. He breaks one tackle. He wants to get in, but he doesn't, and I'm going to change up our call. If I run that with a halfback dive, we're going to lose 4 yards. When it comes to stopping the run, they're going to be aggressive, which is why we're just going to go with a quarterback sneak and get in. We left the Bulldogs 75 seconds in this first half, but they're not doing much yet. That's really ideal. We want them to just take this to halftime, or we could try and get ourselves a stop and the ball back. We force a fumble and scoop it up. Oh, we're running too. We're running too. The big man in the end zone. Crawford gets it done, the freshie. I don't know how any of that happened. I'm sure they're going to review it. But hang on. We're able to kick this extra point. No chance for a review. It's somehow all tied up. You would think with 2 interceptions in the first half at number 4 Georgia, this game would already be over. But it's not, except they've decided they are going to be going for as many points as they can get now. They're no longer just running out the clock, which means we got to make a play. I'm even going to challenge whether or not that was a catch, because I feel like it was a close call, and if we could get them to punt it back, that'd be so much better. I don't think he was in. Watch. He makes the catch. I guess he did have a toe down at first. Oh well, Simmons isn't supposed to get a hand on that ball anyway. He typically isn't in that spot. With only 18 seconds remaining, everyone just has to stay backed up, and we can't give up a huge gain, which is exactly what we did anyway. They're going to get this spike off, and they're going to kick a field goal. I can't believe it. We knew exactly what they were doing, and we still couldn't get back far enough. Obviously, it's still nice to even be in this game in the first place, but I would have felt so much better if we could have just had things tied up instead. I know the Bulldogs get the football to start this third quarter, so I really was hoping for that tie. Maybe we can get away with some press man-to-man coverage, though, against them. It's a pretty aggressive look, but we have been able to find some success with it. We were able to get into that hole. How did nobody bring down Frazier. I thought for sure Nate Frazier was going to lose yards there. He's now over 100 on the day. The worst part is he's been able to do it on only 8 carries as well, where they're now at the 30. It's just taken way too long to bring down some of these players. I mean, he's gone. He is gone. Just like that, 31-21. We're back down by 10 points, and we're not busting out of there. We're going to see if play action can get anybody open. It really can't. They just locked us up. That's what man-to-man coverage does against a team like ours, and it's going to be a stop. It's going to be a stop. You know, something we never do is run a fake punt. But we're going to run the fake punt here. Why wasn't he throwing it? I was hitting the throw way before it registered. We would have had him. I really don't regret that call at all either. It was the right decision. Nate Frazier is insane. I can't wait until we get a running back like that to come to Arkansas. There was some holding, but we're just going to decline the penalty. They'll settle for their field goal, and they should hit it, but we're only down by 2 possessions. This is a tough game that is not over for us yet. Jaden Platt looks like he might be able to get open down the field, though he's going to have to bring that in. Malachi Nelson might have needed a little bit more power on that football. This wasn't supposed to be a run. That's our issue right there, is we just are struggling with this home field advantage. I don't know what I thought was going to happen by running backwards. Just like there was no way getting the throw off was going to work. It was going to make it short to that linebacker when we needed to get it like 20 feet over his head. Add that to the interception total. We are definitely collapsing, but that's okay. We need to get ready for next week. We have LSU coming to town. We want to be healthy, so there's a chance that we can win the Golden Boot. I mean, to come out on top of this one, we would have had to play way better than we did. Marion Peterson drops it. We ended up punting it back to Georgia where they'd score again. As this game's gone on, we have been able to get on the board a couple of times. We might even do it right here. But down by 24, it's going to be too late, even if we do. The same defense that just locked up the Aggies last week gave up the most points we've given up all year. We can't even finish off this drive either. Thankfully, there it is. The 2-point conversion is simple. We just roll out and we throw this drag straight to Georgia. Straight to Georgia. They might be able to return this and get to 54 points. They are able to get to 54 points. It's over. We're not coming back down 3 possessions in this final couple of minutes. Georgia's going to get the win. Obviously, this is expected. But we now have to finish this season with 4 wins and 2 losses to even be bowl eligible. The more we lose, the harder it'll be in the future to sign recruits like Bo Flanagan. He's our first commit, but even if we ended up getting like 10 4-stars, we're going to lose so many transfers anyway that it's going to hurt our program more. As you can see, this Jim at center would love to come to our team, except we are locked out now because championship contender is not good enough. As for Bo Flanagan, the kid's got 90 speed. He's from Arkansas, so of course we had to recruit him. It still looks like we're going to get Jeff Bobo as well. I'm not sure about Jimmy Zeman. What it really comes down to on guys like him and quarterback Greg Gage is whether or not we are able to win this game against LSU. Currently, the Tigers are sitting at mid-table in the SEC standings. They've been able to win 3, lose 2. They beat Clemson, but they lost to USC and Alabama, both very respectable losses. They're also a 94 overall team, but the one thing we have going our way is we get to be the host. As long as we're beating our rivals, our fans won't come for Sam Pittman's job. They won't be too upset. That's at least my hope, because currently, this season's been a disappointment. Why did we not just get the sack there, though? We had Michael Van Buren Jr. right in front of us. Here, it looks like his pocket's collapsing. Of course, he's able to break out of it, though. I'm already getting an idea of what we're going to be faced off with today. Where on earth is our defense? Caden Durham is almost gone. Basically, 40 yards on his first carry. It just shouldn't happen. We're begging them to run it again, though, and if they do, they're going to have a really, really good look. All right, on 3rd and 4, it looks like they just handed it off for a 3rd time. They're going to settle for 3. I'm cool with that, though, because it's better than them scoring a touchdown. What is Malachi Nelson going to do, though? Is he going to throw 3 picks again? I sure hope not. Do we have any running lane here? Not really. We would have if we were quicker. That's a play that you should never be busting to the outside. We did not read our holes correctly at all, but we were still trying to pull something off that would have been special. This might be a quick 3 and out for us. Man-to-man coverage, though, we'll take Andy Jean. It was actually match, which could have been really bad if they had a corner that was willing to cover that zone. Now we have to make a read on what they're going to commit to on this play. We have to be more patient, Andy. At least we make it 3rd and 1, and I might just take this shot to Jaylen Brown. Do not leave him open or in one-on-one coverage. What a beast that we are so blessed to have on this roster. Lots of guys to guard on this play, and they have so much time. We have got to start developing some better edge rushers at this program. Wait, we have a pick. Tim Ball gets his first interception. The 5-star corner. This is the type of strong start that we needed. Now, what we need to do on this drive obviously score some more points. But at least LSU's making mistakes, which is something that for 100% sure will not last forever. They've really liked giving up those bubbles so far. We just made the wrong read. We're going to stay with these runs underneath, though, and get nothing. I don't know why Ricky Hunt Jr. thought he was going to be able to cut that back, but Jaden Platt helps us move the chains. And after getting injured, we're going to take our RPO out to Courtney Crutchfield. I hope Jaden Platt's not out for too long in this game. We're just going to pitch this one over, and Amarian Peterson gets more than the first down. That's a solid finish to the first quarter. We're already up, and we're going to hopefully finish this drive with a touchdown too. We're just going to give him this ball and get almost nothing. But on second down, if we're patient, we can have Andy Jean underneath, who has a first. We'll hit him with a stretch next with the hopes that we can cut inside, get a little bit closer. Now they're going to bring in a lot of guys to stack this box, but it's not going to stop Amarian Peterson. We have an early 14-3 lead, and I'll be interested to see if they run it here or if they decide to throw it, where our man-to-man coverage did not work very well. Maybe what we need to do is man up like one guy, which we've done on the right side, but stay in zone for the rest of the field. I trust Selman Bridges in man-to-man coverage because he's our best cornerback, but outside of that, I can't trust anyone else. Like, we could give Tim Ball a chance here since he came up with one interception. It's just very risky. Look at this coverage, though. We're clamping. We watched our film, and we have played LSU perfectly so far. There's a lot of time left in this game, though. And even this first half, which I really would love to close out strong, despite still being 4 minutes left. We just got to be patient, continue making the right reads. Amarian Peterson breaks through, and this whole team's on fire. I mean, this could not be going better for us, as he's now at the 25. 57 rushing yards on the day, though whenever Ricky Hunt Jr. comes in, I get a little bit more worried. I just don't trust him as much. We're going to motion over York for this next run. That should really help with the blocking, and it does, as we are now in the end zone. Nope, we have been marked short, and LSU is taking timeouts. They want to drive to end this first half. Just do not fumble this ball. We fumbled. We fumbled. You know, quarterback sneak might seem like it's a great option to get into the end zone, but it is scary. Let's see what they got drawn up next. It's a keeper, and it's going to get them a huge gain. I was not expecting that, but we force a fumble. We got it back. Michael Van Buren Jr. was so excited to get them like 40 yards. He didn't even think to hang on to the football, and Amarian Peterson almost had a crib call. This might be the greatest first half that we have played in a game this entire rebuild, and hopefully we keep it up. I see no reason why Amarian Peterson should not be getting more looks. I do wish we did a little bit more with that, though, because now it's third down, and Courtney Crutchfield just created all the separation he needed. We can't be too greedy. We can't force this if it's not there, but I would love to get into the end zone, and Malachi Nelson does that. This is what it should be like for us to play at home. We should have this type of advantage. We should be able to win these games. With throws like that, though, maybe this one's not over. I mean, they are trying to get points before the end of this first half. The check down will take them into field goal range, and they should be able to get up to the line to spike this ball as the clock just started running. There it is. At one point, we were up 28-3. If we end up blowing that lead somehow, I can't live with myself, especially because we get the ball first in the second half. That is how great we just played in the first. We truly had the Tigers just lost at what to do to stop us. If an inside run's not going to be there, though, then we'll just go with an outside run that is also not there. Moving the chains, very important in a spot like this. We wanted to go with the out route, but we're just going to miss the drag. And this is why I always get worried, because simple stuff like that should have worked out for us just backfired. So now we got to get our defense up again. They lived up to this challenge in the first half. Are they going to be able to do it for the rest of this game? At the very least, what we need is a team that's going to make it hard for them to have a lot of quick, immediate success. Thankfully, Tim Ball was able to get back to that, even though we had the inside underneath press, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Caden Durham has a huge play into the end zone. For the 2-point conversion, if this is a quarterback run, we would have been in trouble. Instead, we dropped so many guys back, and that gets them within 14. It just happened so fast. I know exactly what's happening right now. We're gonna choke. That is what my fear is at the moment. What's crazy is all we need to feel better, though, is one big drive down the field where we get at least a field goal. Now, they're getting very aggressive with the blitz, but I didn't get off of playing time. I wasn't even thinking about the play clock, but we have an open read. No, we don't. No, we don't. I was trying to throw a tight end, but then I hit the wrong button, which means I went for the other seam. This is awful. Under pressure, I can't even hit the correct button, where now They're at the 10. All the momentum's in their favor. They're going with a direct halfback snap. Typically, those are really hard to stop, so I'm impressed that we actually did. Are they going to throw us a pick, though? No, they don't. Thankfully, it was at least knocked loose. 3rd and goal. We can't give this up. Okay, 3 guys in the area. Just make the tackle. We're good. I'm still very worried. Obviously, this 3rd quarter is not working out for us, but that at least means that they're not going to get any points out of that drive. It's almost like having a big lead in this game is worse than trying to pull off a comeback. That pressure is just so intense. We're going to have to throw this one away. I was trying out a new formation. I don't know why we need to throw the ball. We should have just been keeping it on the ground. And I think we're about to pull out a fullback dive. This could also get stuffed, but whenever we've gone with QB sneaks, Malachi Nelson just tends to fumble, so that's why we went with the dive. He got enough out of it, and this is a test for Jaylen Brown deep. It's one-on-one coverage, but we're just going to take our slant over to our backup tight end. I'm not sure if Zeke York's going to stay that long with our program despite being just a freshman. Reason for that is I'm pretty sure his deal breaker's like pro potential. We barely met his requirements for that last year, and I think it got worse this past season. Only tight end I can think of at Arkansas is Hunter Henry, which has been a long time, so it makes sense our pro potential for that grade's not that high. Zeke York's going to get this opportunity, though. Take us to the 8, and when I wasn't sitting here thinking about choking, we have been able to overcome all of that bad play. The pressure went away. It's now 1st and goal, where Jaylen Brown can't break that tackle. But it doesn't really matter whether or not we get in the end zone as long as we're able to hit a field goal. That's why we have just centered things up, and Malachi Nelson can take the sack, but it's a fumble. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They're returning it too? We should have just ran it. We should have just ran it. This game was over. This game was over. I can't do this. I just can't do this. Of course this is going to work out for them. Of course it's about to be 3rd down. Wait. Zeke York has enough. Guess what, though? They hit us with an injury timeout. That's so dumb because it's going to keep LSU in this game even when they really shouldn't be. No matter what, we are still going to need another 1st down. And it's a missed throw. Malachi. I'm convinced they want us to sell this game. We have done everything right. We're not going to pick up the 1st, are we? No, we're short. It has us coming out to punt, but you know what? We're not doing it. I will gladly go for this here. We're going to pull it. Malachi Nelson isn't picking this up. What am I doing? What am I doing? I panicked. I couldn't find the play that I wanted, and that's what I got stuck with, or else we were going to get hit with a delay of game. Now they're going to score and tie this thing up. I can't believe it. We're actually going to choke against LSU. Just throw it to the end zone. Just throw it to the end zone. We almost just need to leave time for us to respond. I sent in a blitz where they somehow break the sack and throw it in. We have crumbled under pressure. We have blown a 25-point lead. This is actually on our play calling now. Despite the missed throws, despite the fluky stuff that's happened, we should have been able to end this either way. On 2nd down, we're just going to take our halfback screen. We have no blockers out there, by the way. I don't know where they went. They just disappeared, but we are going to take off all the time because I do not want them to be able to win this game against us. We've been patient back there, and that's fine. That's fine. All we had to do was make sure they couldn't get in field goal range and win this game. I'd much rather just send things to overtime, or we'll drop the pick. J.D. Drew is a senior cornerback, and he still can't catch the football. They're going to throw it there again. Oh, well, though, overtime, here we come. What we cannot do is let the fact that we didn't score a single point in that 2nd half get to us. We can't play the mental game of being super upset. Right now, we just have to take what the defense is giving us and do what we do best. The fact that that wasn't marked as a 1st down, though, worries me, because I'm sure we won't get anything with this fullback dive, or we will. Zeke York's actually doing more for us than you would think, and I really want to throw it to the end zone where he makes the catch. That was super close. On 2nd down, how are we getting sacked this fast? I have no words. It's 3rd and 21. And we're definitely missing this throw, right? Never mind. Malachi Nelson hits his target, and we just beamed that out of the fans. We beamed it at him. We're pumped. That's our own fan base that we're throwing the ball at, but you know what? The fact that we picked that up is a miracle. Okay, let's see. What can we do with this 1st defensive drive? Can we get the stop? There's a flag. Of course there's a flag. Wait, that's going to be against the Tigers, right? It is, so that's going to be holding most likely. It's going to be 1st and 20. That's absolutely perfect. They're going with 5 wide because they know they need to get a big gain. But guess what they got? I think what we need to do is just man up that one side of the field. For the other side of the field, we can play zone, and we're going to get the interception with Hunter. No, go down. You know what? Just get out of bounds. Whatever it takes, we've done it. We've survived. We did not choke. Well, we did choke the 25-point lead, but we're going to win the Golden Boot. You know, there is a lot that's happened in this Arkansas series. Lots of close games that have really scared the crap out of me. But Malachi Nelson clutched up with that touchdown throw. I just realized, too, the best part about all of this is we had so many players on a visit that should now commit because we just pulled off the shocking win, even quarterback Greg Gage. That's how we jumped up to first place on Jimmy Zeman, the right tackle Jim. We would love to get him on our offensive line. It also looks like we're going to get this 4-star defensive tackle, though we're falling behind on Demetrius Robbins. He'd rather play for Iowa. When it comes to these 2 cornerbacks, we have them coming on visits against Ole Miss, but they're probably going to make their decision before then. And what I've done at the bottom of our recruiting board is just added on more players that aren't being pursued as 4-stars, so we can hopefully sign an even better class with Arkansas. Before we get to host both of the Mississippi schools, though, we're going to have to go on the road at Texas and at Oklahoma, which are going to be another couple of games that will be pretty challenging for us to win. Just look at how competitive the SEC has been, though. The fact that we're sitting at 3-4, I feel like is lucky. We've had the toughest schedule in college football, and that's not going to change as we get through the rest of the year. To make it to a bowl, somehow we're going to have to figure out a way to win 3 of these last 5. And I'm still sitting here shocked at how badly we collapsed versus the Tigers at the end of that game. Through the first half, I was confident with our offense. Now as we head into this one, I'm pretty worried. But it looks like they're going to give us a huge hole to hit on this first play, except they did. 2nd and 11, we're just going to keep it with Malachi Nelson, and no one picked that kid up. So it is looking like a 3-and-out. Not much we can do about it either. If our offensive line is just going to collapse, we escaped the pressure there. We're going to juke around, but we got nothing. That is something that you just cannot have. Maybe they won't get over to this punt in time, so it's going to take a bounce. They are still going to get to start this drive from the 34-yard line, though. What was really nice in the last game was whenever we were able to use her on one side of the field and take it all away. We need one receiver out on this left side, though, for us to get the best defensive looks. And they're throwing it straight to us. I just realized that Devin Dampier transferred to Oklahoma, which makes me even more worried for this game. I know he just had a bad read, but he's going to be a beast. Or maybe not. You know what? Both teams' offenses aren't going to score on their first drive. They're going to pin us out of bounds at like the 15. And we're going to hopefully be able to at least get some yards because we didn't do that on the last drive. Malachi Nelson was almost able to turn that one into a crib call. What are we doing? I have to stop relying on Jaylen Brown to hold up his block. Though we're trying to put him on a streak. It's just not working. We're going to have to go ahead, hike this ball, see if we are able to hit anybody. And we can't. You know, it's a bailout for Malachi Nelson that they're going to throw the flag and say there was any PI. But I don't mind bailouts. We needed that. And the blocks are there. The blocks are there. Now we were able to put Jaylen Brown on a streak. Though he's in double coverage, which means it's probably not going to be there. This is a tough throw to make. I'll take that chance, though. If Malachi Nelson pulls that off, we're in a great spot. I think this is 4-down territory. We're not going to kick a field goal out of it. We have a tight end coming over to help us block with the read option. Malachi Nelson doesn't get it. All right, but like I said, this was always going to be 4-down territory, and we have our tight end hopefully getting open underneath for us to just hit with this RPO. Is Jaden Platt thankfully breaks the tackle. Now they're coming out aggressive. They want to press Jaylen Brown. And that's just going to be a quick shot to the end zone as he drags his feet. I still feel like he was more useful last season out of the slot. He's so good out of the catch, but he's restricted to only being able to make big plays like that with him out on the outside. Now we're going to let Soman Bridges take away that right side of the field while we control a safety. They're already breaking a tackle. Taylor Tatum isn't even a bruiser running back. He's an east-west playmaker, but he sure is strong. And with the jet touch pass, we shot through there with Overton. I feel like Taj Overton as a freshman safety has only impressed for us. We can't get there. But Devin Dampier misses another pass. He has struggled. On 3rd and 12, we're trying to drop everybody back. I don't know why our zone's flipped, but that could lead to a touchdown. It just leads to a check down. They juke. They're going to have enough. They don't. They might as well have gotten enough, though. We decided that we were going to press here, and I can't get back to that slant. It's a great pass. We might as well challenge it, but I think it's pretty obvious he got his feet down. I was really just salty that we weren't able to get them off of the field there because it felt like we should have. I like how we've been trusting Tim Ball in man-to-man coverage, though. That's been something I wasn't expecting. We get the pick with Taj Overton, and this defense is finally finding a rhythm. We're just going to run this one straight up the middle, and it's not there. It's not there at all, which is why we have decided to throw it here, and it's a pick. When everything was going right, we messed it up. Malachi Nelson just set Oklahoma up to go ahead and respond with a touchdown right here. Wait, there's a fumble. We scoop it up. Never mind. We're back in it. Isaac Smith knocked it loose. Kelvin Hunter scooped it up. So Kelvin Hunter is at the end of another big turnover for this team. We can't audible when we want to, though, which means we're just going to be running the speed option here and letting Marion Peterson barely get the edge. Look at how they're disrespecting our receivers, by the way. They're still out there. Press coverage. It's not there. We're going to have to throw this away. But I think I have a solution. We're going to have enough time with the play action. We do. We set our feet not well enough. You know what? This might be a 3 and out that we definitely did to ourselves. Andy Jean, though, looks like he's going to get open. And Malachi Nelson dropped it into a bucket. Now we got Jay Robinson looking for the same type of beat of the coverage. Jaden Platt can't catch it. This team has gone press heavy. They've gone for man-to-man, but we're stuck in a run. We're not going to be able to audible, and I thought I had it. As long as we stay in field goal range for Josh Neiman, we're going to be okay. But that was another opportunity to pick up more yards, and we couldn't get it. We're just going to have to lock in. And with a very fast bar, Josh Neiman hits the post. This could be such a different game. The fact that it's going to be tied up at 7 potentially, sickening. They're going to run it on 2nd down, or they're just going to throw it out wide. Interesting. They just go with the draw on 3rd down, and then they spin for more. With a new set of downs, Oklahoma's going to run play action, and Devin Dampier has all the space in the world. This is the defense that we're going with, though, as they throw it out wide. Break 1, break 2, and there it is. Just like that, all tied up at 7. Just the fact that we're in this spot, it hurts me because we work so hard to be in a spot where we'd have a 10-point lead. Malachi Nelson is selling this game as hard as he can, though. I mean, the kid can't hit a target to save his life. I mean, there's nothing I want to do more than just send him on the bench and never see him step on the field again. He missed so many throws already that are just hurting us because we're getting open. Our receivers are making a play. Oklahoma gets the ball back, though, and we are fully out of it. We've still played extremely well, but we're currently just in our own head. And the coverage that has been working for us in this game is no longer working. That was marked as 3rd and inches. What they should do is just run the ball here, but they're going to throw it. It's a screen, and we were not prepared as they're still on their feet. I sure have not enjoyed facing Taylor Tatum in this game at all. We missed the tackle. They're out. But as long as the clock stopped, that might be the best thing that could have happened. We'll be given our chance to respond and score before the end of this half. Inaccurate throws, missed tackles. That tells you the story of most of this game. Malachi Nelson is not giving up on it, though. He's gotten us to midfield already. And it's about time that he decided it's a decent idea for him to at least hit some of these easy passes. We take the check down. We're going to be at the 40 or the 35. Plus, I think we're going to be able to get out of bounds near the sideline if we just roll out and we throw this corner. We can still get a field goal to get this within 4. We don't have to get a touchdown on this drive. As nice as it would be, the field goal is more important. I might take one more shot to the end zone just to see if we can pull it off, but that almost cost us. Josh Neiman, the freshman, comes up to take the kick. His last one was close. This one is going to sneak in. It gets us to the second half, only down by 4 points. Here on 2nd and 11, they got us to bite, but we're still going to give it up even with 4 guys deep. That's just so frustrating to see. Except we're going to snag the interception with Drew, and J.D. Drew, the kid I have talked crap about, is our 85 overall transfer corner. Gets us all the way to the 13-yard line, so hang on. You know who's about to take a lead. I would hope at least. We're going to come close. You could say no matter what, we could get it within 1, but it's touchdown or bust for me here. I want the touchdown, and so does Marion Peterson. It seems like Oklahoma might just let us run this one in, too, with no pressure. That was an interesting decision. I still can't believe that they just made that mistake. I came out talking so highly of Devin Dampier, all for him to have a pretty rough day. And on 3rd and 3, I'm unfortunately stuck, which is not good. They're going to move the chains, and the next time the ball's going over to Taylor Tatum, who's going to get them like 8 on the ground. We just have to get them on another 3rd and short. I think as long as we keep the man up over on one side of the field, whether it's cover 4 or cover 2, we have a pretty good chance at locking up. I don't know about Selman Bridges and man-to-man coverage after that play, though. That was rough. We'll mix in a cover 3 because we haven't been in a cover 3 in a little bit. That did not pan out, which means this response from the Sooners is still going extremely smooth. J.D. Drew had no issue making that tackle, though. We'll see if anybody cuts over. They throw it straight at us. Here we go. 3rd and 10. All we have to do is wrap up, which we do. What our plan was there was just drop everybody back, let them throw it short, and then make the tackle. They fell right into our trap. We might be falling into their trap by going for 4 verticals immediately, but I see a look that I would love to test out. And worst case scenario, we just go underneath. Malachi Nelson at this point has absolutely nothing to lose. He's already been benched. He's already lost plenty of games, so he's willing to do anything. He's got absolutely no fear. On 3rd and 5, we're just going to roll out. We're going to be patient. And that's the wrong guy. We had somebody wide open underneath, but Malachi Nelson was confused due to the home field advantage. Now it's 2nd and 8, and I think we're just stuck running a halfback draw that will get us a little bit closer to the marker, but I have not been able to get Jaylen Brown on any type of route that I want. I think I'm going to throw him anyway, though, except it's out of reach. The worst part, too, is he just routed that corner up, all for it to mean nothing. The punt, wait, it was going to stop short and we stopped running at it. Oh, well, we cannot let that ruin our day. We have to just trust our defense will come up clutch again. I actually have some faith in them. The handoff gets them to a 3rd and 1. Without Taylor Tatum picking it up, though, we had a chance to get them off of the field. That keeper really, really stinks. Now we're going to get put in a tough spot where they spaced out our entire team. But we still have them in the exact look that we want, and all we got to do is bring them down. We called our timeout. Not sure if we really should have, because if they force a 3 and out, we're just going to give them more to respond. But we're confident in our guys. And all we need is a field goal. Malachi Nelson, first play. Simply just get this out over to Crutchfield, who could be gone as he just turns a drag into the biggest play of the game. This is why you love the sophomore. Courtney Crutchfield has stepped up as our best receiver. And Devin Dampier now has the game in his hands, where he's already gotten them like 20 yards. All right, I think it's pretty crucial for us to just shade underneath every single time. We don't want them taking any other easy drags underneath like that one, and it helps us a lot. If he wants to hit short passes, it will prevent it. We're hopefully going to force him into an interception. I'm using JD Drew, but he just rolled out to find a receiver. There was too much time. What I can do is I can set a quarterback contain. The biggest issue there, though, we could have ended it there. But anyway, biggest issue is our defensive line just not getting the pressure we need from them. And it's about to be 3rd and 1. I really don't think I can handle another overtime game. I'm going to run commit here, just because I think it was worth getting a stop. By being able to guess correctly, we should have had some better block sheds. We didn't, though. On 2nd down, he might throw it straight at us, and we get the lurk with Isaac Smith. That is the senior transfer making the play. It's the 2nd week in a row our defense has clutched up to win off of an interception. So Malachi Nelson can take his knee, and we are able to leave Norman, Oklahoma, sitting at 4-4. We are back at 500. I really didn't think we were going to pull it off. Like, basically, every game this season, we had a lot of missed opportunities, but the right tackle, Jim, is going to commit, and I'm sure we got more coming in the future. With that win, all I'm going to say is don't count us out from the SEC championship yet. If we somehow win out and finish 8-4 with only 2 conference losses, we might be able to get in. Our final 4 games are all against teams that are currently unranked. 3 of the 4 are rivalries. So there's a lot that's still on the line, and I'd say this is probably the hardest one of all of our remaining games. Even with that in mind, though, I'm deciding to go in Raw the next day, with this being my first game, just waking up a little bit ago. I hope I don't play terribly. We don't want the Longhorns to blow us out in this rivalry. Michael Hawkins Jr. is their quarterback. He transferred in, and that is a great way for them to open it up. No issues at all getting it to midfield. We're going to be able to stop the run, though. And I'm going to take control of Selman Bridges here. They have their guy motioning all the way out of bounds back there, basically. I committed a flag because I was so confused. I stepped over the line of scrimmage just a little bit, but he was motioned like 20 yards back. I should have just let it play out. That has got to be a bug. We have Tim Ball in now just because we got to bench Selman for 1 play. It was a dumb mistake on his part. We have to make sure he knows he can't just do that. And Michael Hawkins Jr. is going to see all of that open space. Sending 4 guys, but not getting in enough pressure. We left him open. Honestly, that probably should have been a touchdown, and the spin's not going to work on us. I'm impressed with the tackle from JD Drew. He's going to have to do it again. And on 3rd down, we got Tim Ball, ISO out there on one side of the field. Michael Hawkins is going to be able to find his running back in the flat for a touchdown. That was avoidable too. I just wasn't expecting him to have like 5 seconds back there. We should have gotten pressure. It's crazy to think our defensive line is improved from last year, but it's still as bad as it is. Amarian Peterson, nowhere to go. But he has made this a 3rd and manageable. We're just hitting Jaden Platt might not be our best move. We're going to have to make a read, and it was. He's open. He has enough. That's all we wanted. We might as well just hit them with play action and go with a deep shot to Jaylen Brown, see if it's there. If it's not, then we're probably going to throw this one up and let Jaden Platt try to catch it. I think our read option's about to get stuffed here, though, so I'll take like 7 yards. Okay, 3rd and 3. Courtney Crutchfield is going to be my first read. My second read is going to be Andy Jean. Courtney Crutchfield gets open, but it's a bad throw. Malachi Nelson made that ball so hard to hold on to, which means we have to punt it back to them. You know, if he ends up transferring out at the end of this season, I don't think I'm going to be too upset. He's had a lot of frustrating moments for us so far this year. We have Greg Gage coming in as a 4-star quarterback recruit out of high school, and I'm hoping that he pans out to be well. There's no one that's going to be open on this play. It makes Texas have to convert a 3rd and 15 where we can make this tackle. After this play, that'll be it for the first quarter. We just aren't holding on to our blocks. If we do, there's been a lot of potential out of that one both times. We've already run it twice, though. Texas is not going to fall for it a 3rd time. We got man-to-man coverage. Jalen Brown was open, but it did not matter for us. We're going to have to somehow hit him on this slant or just throw it to Courtney Crutchfield. When they go with their man-to-man coverage, it is really hard to find an open receiver. They're clamping us up. Our punt goes straight into their returner's hands, and I'm glad we stopped him. From the look of it, it was about to be 14-0 really easily. We're not going to get to the outside, so Tavion Wallace has to make this hit. He brings down Ruben Owens, who would have had to transfer over from Texas A&M. We're going to stay in man-to-man. There were plays on our last drive where that really worked. It didn't there, but we got out and made the tackle with Hunter. Here we go, 3rd and 7, crossing routes there. Running back's also open. Tavion Wallace, where are we guarding, buddy? You can't just let Ryan Wingo get open over the middle of the field. They kind of got me with the play action, but we forced a fumble, and we recovered it. Quincy Rhodes Jr. punched it out. Derek Simmons located the ball, and we have just audibled over to give Jalen Brown a chance to just go deep. I don't know why they're pressing the junior, but he is going to keep us in this game. What a turnaround this has been for this team. They're going to hit us with play action, and we're stuck. We're stuck. They have a deep shot. Maybe we get back to it with Selman Bridges. I know it's raining, but he should have held on to that football. They had the setup to get a good run out of this play, and they did as they're breaking the tackle. I think we know the quarterback sneak's coming here. There's just not much that we can do. Apparently, that was enough, though, because he did not get the first down. It was marked as a 4th and inches, and we got it back. Jalen Brown was able to get separation on that last drive, but it doesn't look like he was there. Our read option's going to be sniffed out, and we'll see if we have what it takes to pick up this 3rd and 12. Malachi Nelson throws it, and Jaden Platt can't bring it in. You know, that's the 3rd time they've broken up one of our pass attempts on a 3rd down, but at least we're giving ourselves the chance. Without that one big play to Jalen Brown, though, our offense has been really sad. Meanwhile, Texas, they've moved down the field quite a bit. It's been turnovers that have been costing them. And Michael Hawkins Jr. is only a sophomore quarterback, so we are going to have to deal with this kid for years. Maybe we could have gone after him in the portal and we didn't. I don't really remember if he was available for us to get. Could have been a nice pickup, though. That's for sure. And let's start using timeouts. Before the end of this first half, I would love if we could get the football back. Michael Hawkins Jr. sees the space. I'm hitting him, but he's not fumbling. Well, Jalen Brown was open with a chance to get free on another streak. He was being pressed out there, but we weren't able to audible. So it's quickly turned into a 3rd and 3, where no one was out there to block for us. I saw that drive going extremely differently than that. Getting held to a 3 and out gives Texas more time to score, and I am not a fan of it in the slightest. They've now hit us with this play 3 times. I really don't mind giving it up to them, though, because it only gets them a couple yards. And look at this. We are ready to run commit up the middle for this quarterback sneak. It's a handoff that they're punching to the outside, but we got him. That leaves us with 1 minute left, though we would have been in a lot of trouble if Ruben Owens had slightly better ball carrier vision. At this point, they're probably not going to give Jalen Brown the look that we're hoping for, but Malachi Nelson fights for a 1st down. That's like the first time this season he's broken a sack attempt. For a split second, he was really feeling like Taylon Green. We're just going to make sure that we get out of bounds. Or maybe not. There's now 17 seconds left. I can feel the pocket collapsing, but we'll take it. We've got to somehow get this snap off and get out of bounds. We're going to throw to the outside to Jalen Brown. It's going to be picked, though. It's going to be picked, and that's fine. We were forced to try and do something there. It just didn't pan out for us. We'll see if Michael Hawkins Jr. actually decides to run. He didn't even take the shot to the end zone, which means we're going into halftime just trailing by 7 points. To start this second half, we have the ball. We're going to go with a carry. It was not there, and I've realized we have not been running the ball as much as we probably should have in this game. But now, on this drive, we can start to do it again. Amarian Peterson is fresh. Ricky Hunt Jr. is fresh. They want the carries, though Ricky Hunt Jr.'s 86 speed definitely holds him back. If I knew he was that slow, I'm not sure I would have even recruited him. It was R1 to throw to that side. That home field advantage just strikes at the worst time sometimes. But look at this. They have an ego. They think that they have a corner that can hold Jalen Brown. And I'm going to be honest, you don't. They almost got a hand on that ball, but instead, we find him, and we are tied back up at 14. I don't understand why they keep putting themselves in that position. We just got toasted off an RPO. I don't know how we got beat that bad so quickly, but we're going to have to bring in the pressure ourselves, which worked. You know, at some point, we got to send more than 4 players. That is part of the problem. When you only send 4, they got 5 guys that can block. Plus, if a running back stays back, a tight end does too. They just have the numbers game in their favor, and it's working. We'll see if we can lock up here, though. We went with our man-to-man coverage that we have been trusting. It has been really nice to rotate between that and zone coverage. On 3rd down, all the time in the world is going to get Tavian Wallace an interception as he gets another turnover. Michael Hawkins Jr. tested the sophomore, and I can't understand why. I really hope that he does not leave us. Without him and Jaylen Brown, I think this team might actually only win like 2 games. What Texas has clearly figured out is if they run man-to-man coverage, they can lock us down the same way, which is expected. And I know who I'm going to be looking for in the offseason at the end of this video this year. I want to get a running back that has Shifty out of the portal. I think either way, Amarian Peterson does want to stick around, which is great. But I would like to pair him with a running back that has Shifty, and it's about to be 4th and short. We're 100% not going to punt here, though I don't love some of the routes we have out on the field. Might stare down Jaylen Brown and just hope that he can bring it in, except we threw it too late. I don't know why I waited so long. It was just a second difference that is going to cost us. Bring down Ruben Owens. I feel like there's been a lot of chances in this game for us to take advantage of, and we just haven't. But Tavion Wallace gets another pick. Is Michael Hawkins Jr. blind? Is Michael Hawkins Jr. a copy of me? Offensively, us and the Longhorns are having a mid-off in this game, and it's going to stay that way. I kind of like the numbers we have to this left side of the field, though, depending on whether or not we can find the hole. Same thing on this play. We'll see how they end up guarding it. We're going to hit our bubble screen, and that is going to be enough for Andy Jean to move the chains. We might just stay in that trips pistol formation for as long as we can. Once they switch over to something like man-to-man coverage here, that right side of the field is going to be open, assuming we get to the outside and around a couple guys. Once again, I can know they're in man-to-man coverage just based off of the alignment that they're in, but it didn't matter. We weren't able to throw anybody open there, so it's 3rd and 10, and come on, Andy Jean. I was setting us up for a 4th and manageable, but we can't possibly hit a field goal from there even, so we're going to have to punt it. I have learned that we can stay in some man-to-man coverage, though. We can't get over there with Carmichael Glass in time. But here on 2nd and 2, we know run's probably coming, and we couldn't get there quick enough. There's a flag. It's against Ryan Wingo, which means this one is going to be coming back, making it 2nd and 9. We'll see if the Longhorns still keep it on the ground, which they do, but Ruben Owens bounces off of 1. Can't go too far. Tavian Wallace going for his 3rd interception on this play. I like the odds of it. Instead, they throw it out wide, and that's a great tackle. It is a miracle that we still have an opportunity to win this game, especially with the way that we have played. It's been a defensive battle for both sides, but we're finally getting a big running lane for Malachi Nelson. What's so sick about that is we are in field goal range this time, but this is when their home field advantage is probably going to kick in, so we're just going to see that Amarian Peterson is open out wide, and he's at the 4. I wish he was in for this next play. I don't want Ricky Hunt Jr. in, but there was a gaping hole that he just gets this step in, and now we're going to lean on our defense for one final drive. I feel so much safer on this side of things compared to the other way around. I mean, for a long time now, Texas has looked pretty lost in this matchup. They can't hang on. All right, we're going to go with this defense on 3rd down, and it's another missed throw. It's a misconnection. Maybe Michael Hawkins Jr. wasn't the quarterback the Longhorns needed. I'm not sure where he transferred from. I think it's Oklahoma. Is he just keeping the Red River rivalry alive by sabotaging them here so they can't have a good season? I mean, they are 4-4, so they haven't been that great. We're going to pitch it, and Amarian Peterson has the space that he needs. This game is 1 first down away from being over. Once again, we tried and put him out on the outside. That was not it, though. Maybe Malachi Nelson's going to step up and make a big throw for us. I had a read in mind. They're bringing a blitz, but we can hit this target. We can hit it. Jaylen Brown catches it. He has saved us. 3 catches, 155 yards. All 3 of them were very impactful plays for us. So it is no surprise to me that he won player of the game. I can't believe how strong of a finish we're currently having to the season, though losing on a corner to Kentucky hurts. They must have won their visit week. For us, we have a lot of guys that are coming in week 10 against Ole Miss. We also have week 11 visits like on the 5-star quarterback, but I think Texas is about to just pull away here. We will just have to see SEC. As for our hopes of making it to the SEC championship, I don't think it's that crazy. I mean, we could end up winning the tiebreaker for all the teams that have 2 losses if we win out. And so far this season, we've won every home game of ours, so we should be able to do the same against these 2 schools from Mississippi, then finish out the year with the battle line rivalry at Missouri. By the way, if you see like SEC East and SEC West, I only brought this back for scheduling purposes so we could make sure that we played every one of our rivals inside conference play. The 2 teams that make the conference championship is still decided by the best 2 teams in all of SEC play. There's a setting for that in the conference alignment. I thought that was pretty sweet. We're not going to be in the top 25 yet. We're also not even receiving votes, but Ole Miss is receiving a couple, so this could be a big win. Like I said, we haven't lost at home yet this season. We're currently on a 4-game home winning streak. And if you remember what happened whenever we played the Rebels last season, this was one of our wins. It was our first win actually in SEC play. Here's the thing though, despite just playing through a gauntlet of like the last 6 games on our schedule, we'll probably still come out and have a very competitive game here, even though we should probably win by a lot. It's just the way things seem to go for us, and I am terrified of another year on Austin Simmons with 3 receivers that have the stars underneath them. We can try to sit in man-to-man coverage like we did against Texas. I'm not sure how it's going to go. We're definitely going to have to rotate between the 2 a little bit more. And they got 2 guys wide open over there as they're already inside the red zone. All it's going to take is them going with a streak to the outside, and they should theoretically dust us. That's the risk that we take running the current coverage that we do. We weren't able to bring him down off the start, but this is a very manageable spot to get a stop. We're going to even have a player in the quarterback spy in case Austin Simmons decides to scramble here. We need to be pumping up the crowd. We're going to click on, and we're good. You know what? They might have done all this in a minute and a half, but they only got 3 points. Their 6-play drive has come to an end, and it is time for Jaylen Brown to have another great day. If they send in a man-to-man blitz, we got him on a deep post here. I don't know if Malachi Nelson can make that pass, but he did, and Jaylen Brown wasn't able to catch it. Don't love that start to this game. At least we're going to be able to pick up this next one on the ground. I thought we were still up. That is so annoying. That tackle just actually caused us to lose yards instead. That's a tough catch on Courtney. It looked like he was about to get cracked by that guy, but he did not care. He remained unfazed, and he made the catch. All right, we're just going to keep it up with the RPOs, and this time, leaving it on the ground is going to get us a big run out of Marion. I think it's safe to say, going very well so far. We're looking efficient, and we're looking difficult to stop. But that was a mistake for Malachi there. He had Jaden Platt open, so now he's going to have to make up for it himself. Look at that. We got another Arkansas first down. Marion Peterson hits the outside, goes to the 5, all on what was supposed to be a dive play, but he saw where he needed to take that carry. I am a little shocked, though, that we didn't get the touchdown there. It looks like Ricky Hunt Jr. had enough. Now there's the chance Malachi Nelson could fumble on the goal line, but he doesn't. He's able to put us up by 4. That was a very good drive. It's got me feeling pretty solid so far. Ole Miss has come out very aggressive and upset after it as well. They just had a direct quarterback snap. I don't know if it was supposed to be or not, though. Austin Simmons looked a little bit confused, and Tavion Wallace didn't get his hands up. Austin Simmons not respecting him is a pretty brave mistake. I am sure he will end up making a big play in this game. And on 3rd and 2, they're just going to go with the run that we were ready to stuff. Interestingly enough, they're actually just going to go for it. And that was a great decision. We didn't even try to disguise our coverage. Anybody could have seen it was cover 3. The seams are very vulnerable then, especially when they have you that spread out. Guess what, though? It is 3rd and 6. I bet they try and look over to their running back, and it wasn't open. We took away their first read. Jordan Crawford gets in, and they're settling for another field goal. Their offense has done a great job of getting down the field. They've not done a great job of finishing off drives, though, and we just took that prayer. Typically, that's Jaylen Brown on that route, which he is able to get open on with some of his speed. I'm not sure why he wasn't in there. He was at a different spot on the field. Andy Jean is not the guy you want if you're going to be throwing it up. So far, Marion Peterson is crushing it, by the way. He's got himself 4 carries for 54 yards. It's always when we put Ricky Hunt Jr. in where things start to go downhill. They brought a blitz. Andy Jean was the easy read underneath, where Malachi Nelson handling the pressure pretty well. He's going to get this one out too. This is nice to see the offense thrive in the way it has so far against the Rebels. Another huge carry. Marion Peterson breaks the tackle attempt, and nobody is going to be able to catch him. It is very rare you get to see him bust like that, but that was a 42-yard touchdown run. It was exactly what we needed in that situation. But look at Ole Miss. They have gotten down to the 20 in 2 plays. What can our motto be, though? Bend, but don't break. They're going to get a field goal, and that's fine. All we have to do is keep on holding them. Nice little RPO is going to get them all the way down to the 4. This is the closest they've come to scoring, so I'm a little bit more concerned, but we're about to be aggressive because I'm sure they're going to try and run, and there's a flag on the play. Well, we were offside. I guess it doesn't matter because that did not help us. What it does is leaves 2 minutes on the clock for us to score again, and just looking at the numbers game, they should not have gotten a hand on that. We could have had a massive gain there. Instead, though, we're just going to hit Jaden Platt. We have kept our drive alive, and Malachi Nelson is going to fumble. He fumbles. He always fumbles on the plays that I would not expect him to fumble on at all. What we've done here is rolled out, and we're going to hook up with Jaylen Brown. He just has to turn around for the football. Can you block? I don't know what Courtney Crutchfield was doing there, man. That's a blown opportunity. On 2nd and 10, we're going to see if we can hold up. And I can't believe they just got that trip off. What we're going to do is we're going to highball a pass to Reno. It's going to be dropped by the backup. And Jaden Platt getting injured for that one play has now cost us a touchdown. Absolutely ridiculous stuff out of Reno. He leaves us with a minute left in this first half. Only up by 4 points instead of 7. We'll see how serious Ole Miss is willing to take this drive, though. They're risking getting stopped here, which would just give us a chance to score again. That's going to be another completion for Austin Simmons, though, as he's over 230 yards. Luckily, they have no timeouts left. There's only 12 seconds remaining. They're going to complete this pass inbounds. There's a flag, and I hope it's against them. Okay, this is all going to be coming back. But it stopped the clock, which means they're going to get a field goal without having to rush onto the field. I don't know where the 10-second runoff was, but it stinks because now we're only going to be up by 1. There were a couple moments in that half that really held us back from this being a completely different game. I still can't get over the perfect pass from Malachi Nelson in the end zone that was just dropped by our backup tight end. He's been playing really well recently. Just going to hand this one off. Amarian Peterson keeps getting some work. It's time that we let him sling it, though. Just throw a little drag route. We had some deeper routes on the field, but we weren't going to take them. Just seeing true freshman tight end Zeke York make that play, I'd much rather have him as our backup. So he has earned that role, but that missed pass is going to set us up on a 3rd and 7. This is a hard spot to be in, but thankfully, Jaylen Brown brings in the bad throw. That ball was placed in a spot where he could have easily been bumped and dropped it. We're going to lose some yards. I am afraid that we're about to get held to a field goal unless we can get a big run on 2nd down. We do not want to force this on 3rd and 9. Courtney Crutchfield gets open, but it's off target. They couldn't find each other there, so assuming we're able to hit it with the freshman, it's 20-16. For their first play of this drive, it looks like they're just going to take a very deep shot down the field. What are we doing? What are we doing? I told you Austin Simmons is one to be afraid of. It took them no effort, no time at all. They've just managed to erase everything we've been working for in this matchup, but that's a big hole. Amarian Peterson is going to be gone because they couldn't make the tackle. This kid is special. 200 yards on the day. It was about time that we had a breakout performance out of a running back. He might be the best one these fans have seen since Darren McFadden. And let's see, what's Ole Miss going to do on 2nd down? They throw to the outside where they had the numbers. No. They can't get another breakaway play. We are currently getting smoked through the air. This has not been an enjoyable experience, and they actually handed that off. They had their RPO open. I bit down, and they're going to test us deep. Tavion Wallace, catch it! I can't do this. It's now 4th and 4. I'm going to be using the seam because that's a route that they have taken so many times. Guess what, though? Nobody decided to guard the check down, so they're about to score again. This shootout is not done yet. And I decided, why not? See if Jaylen Brown can gash these guys, because guess who's responded with a couple of plays ourselves? All it took was one. All it took was one Jaylen Brown streak. With neither team being able to stop each other, it really is going to come down to who gets the last drive or who makes the first mistake. We've got to catch this ball, boys. I swear, they're like begging us to be able to take the win, and then we never capitalize on their mistakes. Austin Simmons has thrown us multiple interceptions that we simply have just not been able to catch. Sophomore Kelvin Hunter has been at the end of a lot of those, but we're going to try and lark here, and he just can't get his hand on the football, so guess who's in the end zone? To some people, after lots of defensive battles, this game's awesome, but I am currently not having a very good time. We should be running the ball, but I see the press on Jaylen Brown, and what we're going to do is we're going to let Amarian Peterson go to work if they had double coverage back there. That play will take us to the 4th quarter. What I see early on, too, is potential for a big play if Jaylen Brown could block. That was the one other guy on that side of the field that could have potentially made the tackle, and we're not going to get out of there. We're just going to keep on pounding it on the ground until I think we're in a spot where we could hit them with dagger and get a huge gain out of it. Though Malachi Nelson's going to have to make this scramble himself or throw this away. I think my favorite play to scheme up is this similar play design, especially when they go with man-to-man coverage on Jaylen Brown. I thought he was on a drag. I don't know why he'd stop his route there, but we have to take the risk of attempting this field goal or going for it. Do we trust the freshman? That's the real question. And the answer is we do, assuming that is far enough. With man-to-man coverage out there, are we going to be able to hold them? I'm not so sure. I mean, they're still getting open. Austin Simmons has 428 yards with no interceptions, but zone coverage has done nothing for us, and we're going to have to hit him. Fumble. Okay, here we go. We have our defense out there for 3rd and 7 that I really like. They throw it short, and that's not going to be enough. I cannot believe this decision out of Lane Kiffin, though. His offense has been humming down the field, and they punted on a 4th and 1. What a blessing for us. We have the ball back and a chance to drive down the field and win this game. We're just going to keep on running. Amarian Peterson, another 10. This is the most he's had to run for us all season. Though if I see Ricky Hunt Jr. out there, I'm just audibling to a pass the next time. Come on. What are we doing? He was right in front of him there. I don't know why he didn't block him. We could hand this off, but I'm afraid to do that, which is why we're just going to throw the rock, and this time the drag works. You know, when Jaylen Brown just doesn't stop his route midway through the play, he's pretty nice. Nowhere to go there, though. On 2nd down, we're just going to have to hope that Andy Jean can bring this in. For a player like him, that's not the easiest catch in the world. Where did that heat come from? I really don't like the idea of Josh Neiman hitting another field goal from this far out, but the meter is slowed down for him. He has his confidence high. So we're going to go for it anyway. The power's looking good, and it's right down the middle, but it bounces up. It's not in. Are you kidding me? I thought he had enough on that. We had a full power bar, and it was just short. Well, I'm afraid Ole Miss is probably going to be able to get in field goal range. Tavion Wallace just saved us with that tackle, though. Impressive play from him, except they've got a first. How do we force Austin Simmons into making a mistake? He's not made mistakes in this game. Well, whatever that heat was, we got to do it again. We're just not guarding anything. That's going to force us to be so aggressive on 3rd and 3. We got hard flats underneath. That's not open, though. If he scrambles, it's going to be there. We can't make the tackle. He's going to get the first. This game's over. Wait, they're running the clock down. Hang on. 7 seconds left. What are they doing? They called a timeout. They had one timeout. We've got to get a block here. Come on. It looks like it's going to be in. Wait. It's to the outside. He missed. Did somebody say overtime versus Ole Miss? Because that's what we're going to be getting, unless Jaylen Brown just somehow mosses that kid. I can't believe it. Both of us miss a field goal, and then we have just fallen apart. Offensively, this game has slowed down a lot. What a blessing, though. We're just going to hand off first play, let Amarian Peterson get himself a first. Next one, I see Ricky Hunt Jr.'s in, so we're just going to go through the air, hit our zig route over to Andy Jean, and once he goes back out there on the field, it's time for him to continue what he's been doing. All he needs is a couple more yards. They're not making this easy on him, though. There it is. There it is. Just like that. We are 4 stops away from getting Ole Miss out of here. That's one right there. We're staying in man-to-man coverage. This has been the best thing that we could have ever done, though that was Tavion Wallace's guy. All right, I don't think they're going to run this ball here. I think they're going to go with a short pass. We've left the drags wide open. I don't understand why we can't guard anything underneath. They're not willing to test Hunter. Get our hands on that ball. I mean, Austin Simmons is getting way too much time back there. He can think, he can reflect on his entire life and find somebody. They're just going to kick the extra point, which means it's time for double OT. Even if we can only hold them to a field goal, that would be so much better. And this is our chances. We've gotten them on a 3rd and long. What happened here, though? It looked like Tavion Wallace should have been able to catch this football, and he just missed it. But the receiver, I guess, thought that he was going to get it because he then dropped it. You know what? It was a good enough distraction that worked. I didn't ice their kicker like I did at the end of the 4th quarter. That might have been a mistake. Thinking back on it, icing the kicker probably changed that whole thing. I've always wondered if it actually worked in these video games at all against the computer, but he's hit every field goal besides the one I iced him on. Losing 3 yards there, not ideal though. We're going to hit Ricky Hunt Jr. underneath to make it a 3rd and short. And I think this is 4-down territory. I am willing to try and end this game. I don't want to trade 2-point conversions back and forth. This is not going to be Zone coverage, it's man-to-man. We're going to have Andy Jean. Andy Jean's at the 2. So you know what's coming. Just 1 or 2 more yards. It's going to be over. It's going to be over. Marion Peterson just had the greatest single impactful performance of this entire season, maybe this entire dynasty so far. I'm curious how many yards he rushed for. 261 on 26 attempts. What a win for us in the rivalry. Now we get to see the payoff of it, seeing how many players were able to commit due to the win. And it turns out a lot of guys liked what they saw when they came to Fayetteville. We have now been able to bring in 9 different 4-stars. There's still another big week though, because Jonathan is coming on his visit this week against Mississippi State. With some hours free, I've been able to scout some of the last players that we're going after. 85 speed on a running back. I just won't be upset if I don't get some of these guys at the bottom of our board. All I care about is the fact that we're now sitting in the top 4 in the SEC. We have risen this high with Arkansas. And of all the SEC teams that we could get put up against, I'm excited to be facing Mississippi State. There is still the dream that we finish this season with a better record than last year as well, because we're currently sitting at 6-4. The way things have turned around has been something I would have never expected. But look at the way we're about to try and open up this game. Jalen Brown just got pressed pretty hard, actually. He's not getting open. Well, we should have known better. We should have given it to our running back that just went for 261 yards. There's a fumble. There's a fumble. We have fumbled this early on. Okay, so obviously not very ideal, but Mississippi State just tried to throw us a pick. For whatever reason, Isaac Smith just didn't put his hands up, and we're down 7-0. That was probably the worst way things could have opened. But the good thing is there's so much time for us to make up for that. It's not the end of the world. Another rough play, though. We're going to be looking for Jalen Brown on 3rd down. Man-to-man coverage. It's just a missed pass. So Malachi Nelson has returned back to doing things that Malachi Nelson does. He is no better accuracy-wise than Taylon Green, Alexander Bean. Any player that might come to your mind, that's him at the moment. Good thing we got this stadium pulse on our side. We are pumping up the crowd with glass, but he was so into pumping up the crowd, he didn't play defense. I will not lose a game to Luke Cromenhope. Mississippi State is 3-6 for a reason, but we're just not stopping the run well. Our defensive line needs to be getting in pressure. We hit them behind the line of scrimmage. Now there's a flag. And thankfully, they're going to get stuck with the penalty, so it's coming back. An illegal block in the back doesn't change too much, though. We went with single high man-to-man coverage. And I was on the safety, but I was nowhere near the sideline. We should have been shading over top, but we weren't. You know what the worst part about that touchdown is as well? It was Jordan Anthony, our Star Jet Award winner from last season. If I had done better scouting, if I had known that Mississippi State was the team that picked him up, I would have never, ever been pressing against them. But a Marion Peterson might just have a house call here. Come on. Come on. Why does he have to be so slow? That could have been an insane play for him. We're going to keep this with Malachi Nelson, by the way. He's going to take it in. It's a 2-play drive. All right, now we know that we cannot be pressing either. We learned our lesson fast. There's just no way. We are getting cooked by Jordan Anthony, and Mississippi State is destroying us. I had to call a timeout. It was so bad. What the Bulldogs have done is they've recruited multiple speedsters. They have a quarterback that can just run it in. And I don't know what's going on with our defense, but look at Jalen Brown over there. Getting pressed to hell, but we're just going to be patient. Hope that over time, he can get that separation. Just like that, we are back in this game. We're close to being able to score a touchdown. Marion Peterson to the 7. I don't know what has changed in the last couple weeks, but offenses are so much more effective than they've been all year. Our defense has gotten a lot worse at the same time now. Very, very far from ideal. Halfback open in the flat. I left him there. We can try and make that hit. I'm just not sure what type of coverage I want to go with. Man-to-man on Jordan Anthony feels like a huge mistake since he can just gash us. He's only going to be used as a decoy, though. He didn't even see the field for us last season, besides on kick returns and maybe the odd play or two. It's not like we're dealing with some superstar receiver. He's just fast. And Mississippi State's at the 15. All of these spread out offensive formations are so difficult for us to stop. And a lot of you might sit here and be like, what was that? But I just got done watching Notre Dame and Miami last night. So many crazy plays happen in that game that just make college football special. Like there was an interception from a guy flipping in midair, kicking it up with his foot. Then you have Jeremiah Love that's trying to hurdle somebody like every 3 or 4 plays. So it was just a nice reminder that as much crazy stuff happens in this game, it's probably happened in real life. Giving up 28 points to Mississippi State in the first quarter, though, that's something they probably haven't done in years. They are scoring at a crazy rate that they can't keep up with. And Jaden Platt, a name that has been silent for weeks. Gets us down to the 12-yard line where we should probably start to run the ball a little bit. You know who just didn't pick up his pull block though? It was Reno, our backup tight end that we hate. I thought I remembered to bench him, but clearly I didn't. So now Zeke York is out there. And on 3rd and 14, we needed man-to-man coverage. It looked like it might have been match, but Jaylen Brown brings it in either way. What a throw from Malachi Nelson. Are we going to generate any pressure to where we can actually stop Mississippi State? I better start sending some blitzes. Just dropping back into coverage every single time is clearly not working for us. We have a non-existent pass rush at the moment. We've missed our tackle, and there's only one guy that can save the day, which he does. You know what? It's time. Let's bring in the heat. Let's see if he's going to throw it to us, and Carmichael Glass drops the ball. I cannot believe that. What are we doing? Not again. Not again. Well, he is going to be more than just a Jet Award winner this season. Jordan Anthony has shown us why we should have played him more, but I didn't want to use him the same way I'm using Jaylen Brown this year, just because he was fast, being able to bomb teams over the top. I think it makes a lot more sense because Jaylen Brown's like an 87 overall receiver. He's a lot better. Teams should not be pressing him, but Jordan Anthony was like a 75. He should not have had a huge year last year, so he didn't get on the field. It's starting to feel like, though, that we are never, ever going to stop Mississippi State. Here we go. What we're going to start doing is sending in 6 and staying in a blitz. I don't love that we're shading inside and over top, but it's what we're going with. It would be delusional for us to stay in just zone offense. We have to get in pressure. Nothing else has been working, and we swatted it away. Thank goodness. We might have found something here where we can get enough pressure and their receivers can't get open. We know that if Jordan Anthony's their star guy, these are not going to be good route runners. It just has taken us a little bit to find our solution, and that was the bad read. The worst part about all of this is Mississippi State is still up by 10 points. They put up 38 in the first half. So even though we have played well offensively, it feels like it hasn't made a dent. Now they're coming out, dropped very far back, so I figured we could just hand this off for the first down, which we did. I guess that's their Jaylen Brown adjustment, where underneath, we'll take the easy few yards. Amarian Peterson needs more touches, though. That's as simple as it gets. He busts out of there with the halfback draw. He sheds a tackle, and he's still going. They're once again coming out with 3-man deep. I just don't get why they're playing so far back. We dropped the ball. Here on 2nd and 10, what we're going to do with Malachi Nelson is step up, scramble, make this 3rd and 3. And assuming they stay this conservative, we should be able to just hit this bubble and move the chains, which we did. Remember, we have important players on visits this week. We cannot lose to Mississippi State or they will never, ever consider our school. Just like that, 23 seconds left. Amarian Peterson finds the gap. And this is the highest scoring first half we've had this entire series. They better just be running the football here, which they are. They got the read option on us, and thankfully, we got him. He breaks that tackle. They score another touchdown somehow. I'm guarding the seam. I can't let them get in field goal range. I don't think they're going to make it there. What a half, though, from Mississippi State offensively. I mean, it's been an impressive show. With 1 second left, I guess they're just going to throw it right here again. I don't know why they won't throw it to the end zone. Works out for us, though. If they're taking that shot, they'd probably find a way to score on it. I mean, they did on basically every single drive. 249 passing yards already. And they get to start with the rock, but we came out with a little bit of a solution at the end of that half. All we have to do is bring the pressure. And then they're going to make mistakes. Tim Ball, the 5-star corner, is going to get the first pick 6 of his career. Just like that, we're at 42 points. You can see we have found something new here that's going to work us wonders. If a team can't beat us out of man-to-man coverage, we're going to make their day extremely hard. Now, I do have to wonder if we can get away with pressing. Just to mix it in every so often, as long as there's not a streak out there. We were in cover 3 for this play. And now we're going to try and bring pressure with 5 players, but we are going to watch over on the most dangerous side of the field. It worked. It worked. I think we might have found something. It only took giving up 38 points in this game. Mississippi State is still going to need to stop us on offense if they want to have any chance. I'm not sure if they're capable of that. Amarian Peterson has made running the football against them look so easy with gaping holes. And then they come out pressing Jaylen Brown. They kept up with him well there, though, and we're going to get stuffed. Makes it 3rd and 11. Where did no one pick this kid up? That was a good blitz. I am upset with our running back because that's his protection there, but it is what it is. We are fine on defense. All we have to do is bring in 6 people. We'll get to the outside. And I actually think pressing might be my favorite of all of them, as it's stopping the run well. See, this cover 1 blitz is fine as long as I'm watching the side that Jordan Anthony's on. At least I think. Tim Ball has 93 speed. What? You know, that ball just popped around to a million different places. I'm not sure how he dropped that football, but it is remaining true that Mississippi State does not have good receivers. That just proved my point even more. Are we going to get single high coverage here? Pick him up. That guy has been a menace to stop. We were trying to hit him with an RPO. Jaden Platt got caught up, though, which means on 3rd and 13, we're going down. We're fumbling. We're scooping it up, but we're still running backwards. 4th and 37. Everything's falling apart. It looked like they were about to block that punt as well. JD Drew can't get off of the block, so someone else needs to make this tackle. And here we are, prepared. Sending in 5, not knocking it loose on Jordan Anthony. Maybe we do need to bring in 6 here, and there is nowhere for him to go. With a little bit better vision, that is a completely different story. Tim Ball got cooked. And I just realized, if the guy I'm manned up on starts blocking, I got to try and help put in pressure myself. We have to make sure we are always winning this numbers game. Play action. We send it in, but we got cooked. All right, well, it was a nice run figuring out how to stop Mississippi State, but after a while, they were able to counter everything we'd been doing. So we better lock into this 4th quarter, where our first carry is going to be really nice out of Amarian Peterson. That hezzy was crazy there. The body control to know where he wanted to go, though. What happened? Darian Gullett is going to get another TFL. He's been in the backfield the entire 3rd and now 4th quarter. So we're going to need to not throw a pick. We threw a pick. We threw a pick. I didn't think he could get back to it. There's no way. We might actually lose this one to Mississippi State. I've been way too disrespectful to this team, but it's 3rd and 6. We are basically just guarding this right side of the field. They get the screen pass, and this isn't good. We tackle them short. Okay, they could hit us with a fake punt here, but they didn't. I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't go for it, and we almost threw another interception. I'm terrified of that linebacker up the middle, though, and handing this off because he's making every play. On 3rd and 8, if we roll out, Malachi Nelson's going to have a lot of room to just run. And now we're looking at Jaylen Brown. We're looking at Jaylen Brown. Is there going to be safety help over top? No, there is not. Go ahead. Bring this one in, young one. Or junior, whatever. He gets the touchdown. We have a 4-point lead. What a stressful game this has been. Stadium pulse is not very high, by the way. Need the fan base to start riling behind us. We have a 5-game home winning streak on the line right now, and they just don't seem to care. I think the best way we can stop them is dropping into a cover 4. They're just going to go deep, and it's not Jordan Anthony over there. We didn't pick it. At least Selman Bridges was able to disrupt that pass. They've punted the ball back to us with 3 minutes remaining. And Courtney Crutchfield might have a kick return. Never mind. Next year, we need to get a receiver that is strictly in for kick returns so he's not tiring himself out. And my thoughts on this 3rd and 4 is we should have Courtney open underneath, but that guy, we almost threw into the back of his head. All right, so after converting that first down, Mississippi State has burned through all 3 of their timeouts, and we almost got another. So if we just move the chains one final time, this game's over. They're making it hard on us, though. 3rd and inches. You know where we're going to be looking. He didn't get open, but Jaden Platt drops it. And I didn't want to run there because we got stuffed the last time, but we're going to go with the QB sneak. Thankfully, there was no fumble. We can end the game. And what a stressful win over Mississippi State. Jaylen Brown was who won player of the game, too, with his 5 catches, 3 tutties. I knew it wasn't going to be Malachi Nelson, but I thought it might be Amarian Peterson because he had almost 200 yards on the ground. Just like that, you can see it. We're up to number 20 in the country. We've moved our way up, and there are a lot less players that want to transfer, mainly just defensive backs. And I'm pretty excited that Frank Durbin has committed. At the same time, though, we lost out on this edge to Iowa. He's from Iowa, so it makes sense. But the reason I'm excited about Frank is because this kid's got 92 speed and shifty as a freshman. Now, Texas won their visit week, so they're going to jump up to first place on Jonathan Olszewski. We're probably not going to get the 5-star quarterback, but there are some other players on our board that we could still sign. And if we just look around at the current top 25, where we're sitting all the way up at number 19, the highest rated 4-loss team, the only team in the top 25 with 4 losses, you have to think the only reason for that is because we were playing the hardest schedule in the country, and all of our losses besides to Florida were against ranked teams on the road. Unless we can make it to the SEC championship, though, I don't think there's a path where we're a playoff team. It's going to come down to the wire, which makes things pretty interesting. And for as what we can do on our side, all we have in our control is beating Missouri in the Battle Line rivalry. To lose this game would really stink. We've been handling business during our rivalries this year. And I think Arkansas fans can be pretty happy with the year after seeing how it's gone. I know it was a slow start. I know things did not look good at first. But we're currently facing a team that we doubled the score against last season. So I'm feeling pretty confident. You know who's getting the rock after these last couple of weeks. Read option loses us 3. Jaylen Brown is not getting pressed either. We might have been able to hit him, but we can't break free. Okay, well, the Tigers just held us to a 3-and-out, so we're going to punt it back to them. They're going to start their drive at the 35. And these defensive backs better not give up another 500 yards through the air. I don't know what's been up with them recently, but they just haven't been clamping up. We need it extremely bad. Wallace can't get over to both of those guys. That was a good scheme for the Tigers, and then they only had 3 guys out on a route. That did not matter. Sam Horn was still able to find somebody. What we've gone with is going to be a lot of man-to-man. Very few zones there, and here comes the QB sneak. We have the numbers to stop the run in this situation, but I just completely whiffed. And we might as well bring in a double safety blitz. I don't want to give Sam Horn all the time in the world to find a receiver, and that paid off. We were screaming at him. It didn't get in, but it held them to 3. And offensively, this next drive needs to be a lot more impressive than what we just did on our first one. Maybe we can get a return. We can't. But next year, we're going to have a freshman running back with 92 speed that I think will make for a great return man. They're also disrespecting Jaylen Brown like crazy here. He's going to get by him. Is this throw from Malachi Nelson going to be good enough? That's the real question, though. We run underneath it, and that's been a lot of our offense the past few weeks. It's really nice, though, to know that whenever that mismatch is there, we can just take advantage of it. We somehow let Sam Horn get past the line of scrimmage. Our defensive line just has a lot of moments that really let me down. The Tigers don't have Ahmad Hardy anymore, though, which makes their offense a little bit easier, in our case, to stop. And let's see, can we get a return going to this right side? We cut out of there, but get picked up. If you cut the right way, you get a massive speed boost in this game. I'm trying to figure out how to do it more often, especially when you get a player with shifty. It has potential to be a lot of fun. Instant pressure, though, makes this 3rd down where we will step up in the pocket and still not get it out in time. That was not the best first quarter from us offensively outside of our one play to Jaylen Brown, which has been true for a lot of games this year. We should have stuck with the run for more than what we did. And we have stacked this box for wherever they decide to go. It's going to be a pass that is wide open. Missouri's definitely thrown it more than run it. We should have known that was probably going to be play action. On 2nd and 4, they just hand it off into a sea of white. And here we go. We are ready with our coverage out there. I can't guard everybody. This is not good. This is not good. You know, at some point, there's just the expectation that one of our edges is going to get in. Like, it's impressive. We consistently give teams all the time they need. And what are we doing? It's 3rd and 1. We're going to get hit in the backfield and have to punt it again. It's just frustrating. Offense has been very, very hit or miss. But I know I said it earlier on in this season, all of our starters on offense besides our center aren't seniors. At the moment, almost all of them are willing to return next year too. When you add that in, plus how we do in the transfer portal, I think our offense in Season 3 has a chance to be extremely special. Come on. Wrap up. There we go. It is 3rd and 12. I'm willing to give up a drag underneath as long as they're not going to reach the marker. Tavian Wallace snags it. He's going to get caught. But just like that, we got the ball back. We got Jaylen Brown trying to beat a cover 2 deep. This is a really aggressive shot to take. He can't make the diving catch. I mean, we can hand it off to Amarian Peterson, but they've been stopping the run well. So here we go. 3rd and 12. We're going to pump fake. And now we're going to have to throw it. We're going to have to throw this. We get lucky. Trying to get those linebackers to bite down so we could get the first was not fun. It wasn't working for us. We might have just beat them deep with Andy Jean, by the way. He snags it. They bit. I think that's got to be the first time Andy Jean has ever smoked somebody deep. It's not something you would typically see out of him. Great coverage, by the way, to knock that ball loose. They're going to try and have a deep post out there. They didn't go with it. Missouri actually calls a timeout to go for it on 3rd down. And we can knock that out. We can. All the Tigers have done is given us the opportunity to get more points before the end of this half. Malachi Nelson will have to be careful back there to not throw any interceptions, but he's off to a good start. At least it seemed like he would be. Now we're going to step up, and it's another bad throw. There's the pick. There's the pick. Don't let him get into field goal range. Make the tackle. We're fine. Why does he have to be like this? Why can't we just get some good plays out of him? They're in field goal range. They're in field goal range. They have a timeout as well, so they're going to get it off. They're just trying to go for a touchdown, I guess, or they're going to make it more difficult. It is a hash mark kick, but this is good for the guy from the right as he's going to drill it. If he was a lefty, might be a different story. I can't believe that they were able to get points before the end of this half. We had a relatively easy pass that we just completely sailed. You know what, though? Malachi Nelson knows how to be an entertainer. He knows how to keep games close. even when we don't want them to be, or when they have no business being close at all. Aiden Lawfrey's been more dangerous through the air than running. Whenever he's taking carries out of the backfield, I don't get too worried. This is some clamps. Senior Quincy Rhodes Jr. actually did his job off of the edge, generating pressure, and all they can do is go underneath. We missed a tackle. We missed another. We gave it up. Frustration in this team is starting to rise. Missouri is going to get almost nothing on the ground. This has been typical, but I guarantee through the air, they're going to find a way for success. What is that angle? Hang on. There was a flag against the Tigers. I think they were holding. Illegal block in the back. We just got bailed, and we're sending in a blitz. It was a wide receiver screen. All right, 3rd and 10. It's really hard to see who else is out on the field when there's the literal coverage on it. Plus the shadows, and they're wearing black jerseys. It was just hard to track everybody there. So, not surprised that they were able to convert. We got them. If they're going to score this touchdown, we're trying to make it as hard as possible for them to earn. They got it, though, and for the 2-point conversion, they're going to get that. No, they're not. That's kind of crazy. It looked like he was going to get enough. There's no way. Jaylen Brown just got pressed. We're going to have to go over to Andy Jean's side, and he makes the catch. He breaks the tackle. What is this breakout performance from Andy Jean? I'm so glad that teams think we're going to run all the time and just get super aggressive when they're trying to get some of their stops. We really do have a lethal combo with our offense. That's such a weak tackle attempt. I'm pretty sure Carmichael Glass is a senior, though, so I can't even get too upset at him because he's going to be gone anyway next year. Back-to-back rough plays for the kid. They're starting to target him. They see the weak link in our defense, and Tim Ball gets off of the tackle just to miss. They're in. They're in. I don't know where Jamal Roberts came from, but they finally found a running back that can tote the rock against us, and that's what we need out of Peterson. Just big running lanes for him to go through. We missed it there. And you know what? I might consider this 4-down territory. Our first attempt, maybe I should have gone over to Andy Jean's side, but Jaylen Brown also looked like he could bring it in. So like all of Malachi Nelson's passing yards have come on a few plays. These fans might be having a good time right now, but they're not going to be once we punch this in. There it is. There it is. I can't believe we held on. Amarian Peterson is just built different, though. They're sending it up. Come on. Get our hands on it. Get our hands on it. These whiffed attempts at interceptions are so costly. That was my guy. Tavian Wallace wasn't on him. Oh, well. 1st and 10. New set of downs. Guys are open. But not for long. We're hopefully going to scream off of the side. Force him into a bad read, except they come back for the easy catch. Sam Horns had himself a really good game against us. I don't know what we're guarding, but they're in the end zone. This is so weird to me. It really is, because we had game after game where defense was everything. But now against 3 different teams that are all worse than the teams we were playing earlier on, we're not doing well. There's a bright spot to this, though, and that's the fact that I see the seam is open, and we're going to drop it. That could have been huge for us. Instead, we're just going to run the football into nobody, and I'm sweating it out for this 3rd and 11. 4 minutes left. This is a big play in this game. We got hit. All right, we're going to have to get a stop against Missouri here. I doubted the Tigers. I didn't think they'd put up a fight like this. I'm ready to stop an RPO if they go with it, but they've not been a team to run very many of them. That might as well be a first. It actually hurts us a lot more that it's not, because now they're going to be able to run down the clock even more, though they really just tried to throw us an interception, and we are all over that. Double stack is extremely hard to guard if they are going to throw the screen pass out there, which they do, but we had a flat, we pass committed, and here we go. After the 2-minute timeout, this is a massive 3rd and 14. They can have anything underneath that they want. What? It's just like, what are the odds of that? What are the odds? Wait, we got a fumble. What are they doing? What a bailout. What a bailout. We're going nowhere. We simply cannot run the football against the Tigers, but we're hoping to be able to roll out and at least scramble for the 1st down. I was thinking about throwing it, but I didn't want to take the risk just because Malachi Nelson, he's had an interesting day. I'll give a shot to Andy Jean. Go for the aggressive catch. I think that was worth doing. I've not seen much of Jaylen Brown this game, but we have my favorite play call schemed up here on 3rd and 10. And they get the sack. I mean, what do I do about that? I've hurried it up to the line. We're going to have to just hope for the best. Courtney Crutchfield, you have the positioning. Okay, I was strategic. I saved our 3 timeouts. He almost kept that out of there. But anyway, I really do think just saving our timeouts is going to make all of the difference because we can still get this football back. I mean, surely they're just going to go for a run here and keep the clock running. I guess they're going to throw it. And is anything open? Don't be in field goal range. I think they're short. Okay, they're punting it back. 25 seconds remaining. And Malachi Nelson, are you capable of miracles? No. You're not. I really need to find a quarterback that can max out his accuracy. Whenever you're missing easy passes like this, it's so frustrating. Part of it's technically my fault, but another part of it's just the fact that the meter fills up so fast. We might have a shot to Jaylen Brown. Hang on. I'll take it. Why not? Jaylen Brown, 1-on-1. He's going to bring it in. Jaylen Brown brings it in. I can't believe he has somehow done it again, but we are surviving, and we're going to have 5 or 6 wins, all because of one player. What are they going to do in this final 6 seconds? Surely not anything crazy, right? Just knock this away? We're good. Well, we have won the Battle Line Rivalry 2 years in a row. We're trying to get that record closer to being 50-50. Missouri's got like twice as the amount of wins as Arkansas still. Jaylen Brown, though, what a game. It is much deserved that he has set the Arkansas single-season receiving touchdowns record after the year he's had. I didn't think he did anything too crazy, but 13 is enough to set that record. It's the first we've been able to get into the school record book, though I think over the course of this rebuild series, we should be able to break almost every single one of these, besides Darren McFadden rushing for almost 2,000 yards in a season, and then this interception one at 10. I guess we have been invited to the SEC championship, though, which... this can't be right. I want to say it's a good thing, but all it means is the setting that EA has inside their custom conferences does not work because it should be between Auburn and Georgia. What it did, though, is because I split it up by divisions just for the scheduling purposes, is it has us playing against the Bulldogs, so we get in, which is good news for us. We have a chance at making the playoff, but it shouldn't work that way either, if that makes sense. Anyway, we lost out on the 5-star quarterback to Texas like we expected. We're still tracking some of these other battles. I'm just expecting the bigger schools. Like if Ohio State, Oklahoma enters the picture, I feel like they will pull away. Maybe winning the SEC championship can change that, though. I know one school grade I really want to increase still is our brand exposure. You know, another thing I didn't even consider was the fact that we got to hire 2 former head coaches as our coordinators. That has made a major difference for Arkansas. It's been nice. We could send social media into an uproar with a win in this conference championship, being the first 4-loss team to ever make it to the playoffs. So here we go. The last time we played Georgia this season, it did not go well, but maybe we can get revenge. If I remember anything from our game, it's just that things fell apart in that 3rd and 4th quarter. So hopefully we can avoid that happening in this one and still get off to a really solid start. Just the fact we've gotten Arkansas to this point is really remarkable. And there is no stadium pulse that we're going to have to put up with. First down run, though, doesn't go anywhere. Second down run, we're going to lose more. It's like we start every game the exact same way. We're getting screamed at. Well, that was not good, and neither was our punt. We have set up Nate Frazier in this offense in a great spot. That is a name I did not want to have to say again. Everything's boxed, though, except Gunnar Stockton. Gunnar Stockton's getting loose out there. Hit him. Fumble. Fumble. You see how our defensive line just didn't get any pressure at all against them? It is not fair. It's not fun. Double bracket, man-to-man, did not lock up. So we're already down 7-0, but we're starting this drive in a better spot due to a good return. We're going to cut this one back. And Amarian Peterson has arrived to this game. CJ Allen, though, at linebacker for Georgia, is very hard to deal with. It's the same thing on Mississippi State that gave us issues. Some of those abilities are so good at stopping the run. This punt looks a little bit better, but it's just not going as far as I wanted. All right, let's start out with man-to-man coverage and see how it does for us. Easy tackle. We can wrap up there. Tavian Wallace is that guy, but he didn't get a hand on the football. We're going to try and bring in a blitz here. We sent 6, but all of the angles that they took were awful. Just the fact that Gunnar Stockton missed that throw is extremely clutch, and we're there. We're there. All right, it's 3rd and 3, and we're going to press, and we're going to send 5. They're flipping our coverage, though. It's not looking great. Lots of open guys. I know we really didn't do a great job of stopping Georgia the last time we played, and we're not doing an amazing job so far, but there are no nerves in this game. These spins just keep on getting them more yards. It's ridiculous. 3rd down, we're over there. He breaks it, but it's 4th and 1. Okay, just like that, they're going to have to attempt a long field goal, and it was easily in. It's not like they have a crazy huge lead, though. It's only 10-0. Andy Jean jumped over a player to get him separation. And Amarian Peterson is going to see a lane that he doesn't hit well. I think we just got to go with the halfback stretch. I am tempted to throw it deep, but if they clamp up, we're not going to have anybody else. We got to go with the guy that we've leaned on all year. Well, he has 5 carries for 3 yards, so at this point, we're just going to throw the rock and pray. That's all we can do. We have clearly not opened up this game the best way we could have. I literally just dove at that guy like a torpedo, and he just threw us off like it was nothing. Georgia's hitting the weight room better than anyone on our team has. Can we make a play? Tim Ball should have turned around for that football. I was trying to make sure he did, What do I do? What do I do? We can't let this rattle us. Nate Frazier, he's a beast. He is a beast, but we can't let this rattle us. I mean, come on. Even the safe plays are only getting us a couple yards. You see abilities lighten up on every single player on this field. Here we go, though. It's our opportunity to get back into it. Jaylen Brown getting pressed. He got pressed really well there. We're lucky to just get the first down, hit him with an RPO, and take a few. All right, we're going to keep it on the ground on this play, get a nice lane, and here we go. Halfback draw. Going nowhere. Amarian Peterson, we're going to need you to break a tackle or two at some point. If not, I'm not sure when we're going to score in this game. We had the seam. We threw it a second late, and Courtney dropped it. We know we can't hit a 59-yard field goal because we missed a 57-yard one, which is why we're going to go for it. Just trying to get some points on the board, but Georgia locked up again. At some point, we're going to have to respond, locking up ourselves. What is this? I know that they scored basically every drive the last time we played. I think they had 54 points. And then like the last few weeks, our defense has just been non-existent. But this is getting bad. It is 24-0 before the end of the first half. And we're about to fumble. We're about to fumble. I saw it coming. I saw it coming from a mile away. It is 31-0. It's over. It's already over. Malachi Nelson is scared of throwing interceptions, so he's just holding on to the football. There's no way. There's no way he dropped it 2 plays in a row. We have to at least get enough time, even though they're only sending 3, to find somebody. We've literally taken 5 sacks in this game already. Cover 3? Nope. Not quick enough. As this game goes on, I've decided this is our karma for being in the SEC championship when we shouldn't have been. Holding them to a field goal there was nice, but this entire second half has been the same struggles as the first. 4th and 4 here. We hit them with play action. We're just not getting open with Jaylen Brown at all. Once they put in their backups, we got a sympathy touchdown, but there was nothing to be seen there. Kirby Smart, you got it, brother. You got it. Before we can win the SEC, win a national championship against the top programs, we got a long way to go. I'm proud we even got the opportunity in the first place, but we were facing Heisman Trophy winner Gunnar Stockton. That offense, that is deserved. I can see why he won the Heisman Trophy. We're going to get Cal in the Gasparilla Bowl. What I always love to look for is to see if we can get any All-Americans, and Tavion Wallace was a first-team SEC All-American this year. He led the team in tackles with 92 of them. From a sacks perspective, Derek Simmons, the sophomore, had 6. He had the most, but Quincy Rhodes Jr. with 5.5. He's going to be gone. Jordan Crawford's going to be here for a while. And then if you look at our top 4 guys whenever it comes to interceptions, all of them are going to be back next season, besides Taj Overton, because he doesn't like our playing style. On the passing side of things, Malachi Nelson came here, threw for less yards, the same amount of touchdowns, and more interceptions while rushing for less yards, but a lot more touchdowns. We'll see if he ends up transferring or not. Amarian Peterson had over 1,000 rushing yards, mainly because of those final games of the season. 13 tutties. Receiving-wise, Jaylen Brown with his 13, we talked about that, 1,275 yards. And seriously, everybody wants to return. As I scroll through all of these names, there's not a single senior, so if they made a catch on this team, they're not a senior. To add to the guys that we're bringing in, Marvin Simon, probably going to go to Colorado. Miami's probably going to get this right tackle. Ohio State ended up getting the Jim Power Rusher. And I told you all, these bigger schools are going to come into every single one of these battles and take away these prospects that I thought we might end up winning. For the players we did get, though, Tyler has 86 speed, impact development. Not great for a receiver. Frank Durbin has normal development. That is not what you want to see. We're seeing normal development on a lot of these guys, but we have elite on a center. It's the first elite development player we have found. It seems like Greg Gage is going to have star dev, so the dual threat quarterback has a lot of potential. I can't remember what his deal breaker is. Joshua Sapp's probably going to be a tight end for us with his star development. Normal dev on Bo Flanagan as well. These running backs are not getting good dev traits. We're clearly running into a problem where we're going to have plenty of tight ends in the future, but not super fast, talented wide receivers. So I'm going to look for that in the transfer portal. As for our bowl game, I would love for Arkansas to win their 3rd straight bowl in a row. It's taken place in my old city, Tampa Bay. Raymond James Stadium, great place to play at. And it's against a Cal team that loses their best players to the portal every season. They always have to be rebuilding their roster. On 2nd down, though, man-to-man coverage did not stick. Our guys are looking like preschoolers out there. Can no one wrap up? No one. You know what? Most of the players on this team that want to transfer out, they're defensive backs. I'm not going to be upset when they end up transferring out because they've been atrocious. This same read option has been suggested for me to call at the start of every game on the 2nd play. I've learned my lesson that I do not need to keep it, and we're going to hand it off. I'm just so disappointed in our defense. I don't know why they got so bad so quick. In episode 1, I was adjusting the sliders a good bit because I was trying to find the best balance that made it a real challenge. But I have not adjusted a single slider in this episode. So nothing has changed we've just somehow gotten a lot worse. Maybe we need to just find some real good tacklers in the portal and actually scout the guys instead of just blindly recruiting them. Last season, we couldn't do that because we had to use all the hours that we had. As long as we're retaining most of our team, though, we're going to be able to actually spend hours scouting this time around. Good play from Ricky Hunt Jr. He's setting us up to just go with the speed option, hopefully get into the end zone, and Marion Peterson can do that. We're going to go ahead and beam this ball at one of the reporters just out of frustration. Really nothing more than that. I just don't like how we've been playing defensively. Come on, intercept the ball. At least we have them on a 3rd and 9, but there's a lot of defensive backs in this room that aren't good, and then there's a lot of them that are high overalls. No matter what they're rated on paper, though, they all stink. Every single last one of them. They just got a first down off of that. The way we're playing defensively makes me miss the rebuilds where I don't play a single snap besides like the final few minutes. I just super sim off of the roster I built. I don't have to worry about getting in on the game and somehow making the stop myself because I clearly can't do it. I say all that knowing that I really do love filming all this series stuff. It's a lot more fun. You really get to know the roster a lot better, build a relationship with these players that all suck. I don't care that we just got 8 wins with the hardest schedule in the country. I'm ready to reload with more talent next season that can be better than this. The thing I'm worried about most as we move forward is if we're ever going to regress any season, because it's not like things are ever going to be easy. We've won multiple games this year that we probably shouldn't have won. And if we have to play that team again next year, I don't know how it'll go. It's not like we're playing in Conference USA and every team's going to be 20 overalls worse. We still can't even find a quarterback that can hit like half of his throws. Malachi Nelson has been a disappointment half the time. Our chance in this game, though, really all comes back to whenever we can get this football back. And we just whiffed. We whiffed on 2 tackles. Part of it my fault, part of it the defense's fault. It's 21-7. I am really not happy with this team right now. It will take the first down, but I'm not going to sit here and run the ball 20 times as we try and get down the field, because at the moment, we're already trailing by 14. I don't want to take it slow. If I take it slow, grind out a few points, and then all they have to do is get off one run, what's the point? What is the point? It's time we get some pressure in there. There's no way this quarterback is any good at all. He isn't. Zion Chris. I haven't even heard the name before. Throw me the football, buddy. Throw me the football. It's out of reach. Luckily, out of reach for his tight end too. 3rd and 8 now. I want to be on Wallace. He is going to make the play that we need, or not. Or not. At least he made the tackle. These speedster wide receiver builds are so difficult to stop. I've also noticed that compared to other receiving archetypes, they are very hard to recruit. If there's an archetype you want to focus on, it is them. You want them on your team, but we just let him take it. I tried to upgrade Carmichael Glass's coverage stats because I knew that they weren't the best in the world. But clearly, it's not helped much. I want him to guard underneath routes, and then he never does. It could also be his awareness. That's another thing I don't really think of much. Jet touch pass, you're stuck. This is our chance to get California off of the field here. They're going to be throwing it. We should have had a quarterback spy out there, but we're not getting off of these blocks. Come on, come on. He's short. This is a weird angle to kick from. I know you want to shank this. I know you don't want to shank it. Well, Malachi Nelson has been given 2 minutes to get us down the field. I should have just thrown it. Sometimes I feel like stepping up in the pocket instead of dropping back 15 feet is the best thing I could do, though that's why they got pressure quickly. I just stepped out of my protection. On 3rd down, we can run under this with Jaylen Brown. And I'm still waiting for the day that they give us that single high look versus him. We're going to have to playmaker and get a great throw out of Malachi Nelson. Jaden Platt can't bring it in. Final game of the year, our offense is just completely falling apart. It's like we started the season really bad, we're ending it bad, but the middle was amazing. Some of those wins this year, I will never forget. They were incredible. We might have Jaylen Brown, though. Just dive and hang on. That's been another difference maker. We can't upgrade his spectacular catch, and I can't tell you how many of those balls he's failed to bring in. It's like a guarantee that if he's laying out for a pass, he's not catching it. At least what we have been able to do is we've been able to get ourselves inside field goal range. I would love a first down here. The clock stopped for a second. Now we're going to get this snap off and just throw it out. It's going to be really hard to get a touchdown with just 10 seconds left, but Jaylen Brown's got the cut. He doesn't have the hands. So I'll just hand this football off to set up a kick down the middle for us, which is fine. We've not played well But to be within 7 points, not the worst thing in the world. And let's get going. Let's get going with a kick return that is going to barely get us to the 23. Okay, I know that people are going to say I need to be running the football more. So here it is. I think our last few weeks I've been so hurried in trying to keep up with the quick scoring of the other teams that I haven't been taking things slow and making the right reads that are going to win us these games. Obviously, that needs to be a better throw. Malachi Nelson has done that so many times this year, and it's really frustrating to deal with. We can never just run with the ball after the catch. I was looking for a big play to Jalen Brown. It wasn't there. And Andy Jean might actually be a better option for us. We'll see how good that corner is over on that side of the field. They had the safety help on one side, but not on him. If there's one thing Malachi Nelson can do, it's be more accurate on a 40-yard pass than on a 5-yard pass. And we'll see if he can get this over that kid's hand. That's going to bring up a 2nd and goal for us. Little inside zone action, which gets stuffed. I'm a little reluctant to throw this one to Jaden Platt, but what we're going to do is just scramble, and they slid down. All right, those hitches might be open if this is zone coverage. It is. It's zone coverage. He got back and played that? Are you kidding me? Malachi Nelson has a hard throwing arm too. We tried to get that ball there as fast as we possibly could. You see what I'm talking about with Carmichael Glass, though? Players literally just catch the ball on him. He has no coverage stats at all. Big 3rd and 5. I was using him. Tavion makes the tackle. And look at this backdrop as we're just sitting here waiting on this punt. This game looks incredible. Gotta love it. We're going to go with the return over to this left side. It looked like we were going to have the numbers for a second. We're still going to be in a great spot. I'm thinking that they're going to give us cover 3, and they are, which was perfect. The throw was a little questionable, but Malachi Nelson made sure he got the ball where it needed to be. And I think we're going to go with the stretch to the outside. Let Amarian cut it up. If he's still not in the end zone, give him 2 more carries. We saw what throwing the ball did to us on the last drive. Let Amarian go to work. It is tied up at 24 all. One more thriller to end this season before we get to the best part of the video. It's my favorite part, at least, the offseason, where we can set this team up for season 3. They had it. When we have 2 linebackers in the area, that just really hurts me to see. They're going to go underneath, and Carmichael Glass is out there. Slowed him down. Worked out well for us. We don't want them to get a field goal or anything out of this drive, though, and there's a flag. That's going to make it 1st and 20. This is exactly what we won. Now we can be a little bit more conservative. We can let them take these short, underneath throws. Never mind, Desmond James turned it into a 13-yard gain. I was manned up on the tight end, and I was expecting him to be on a post, not a corner. It was just a bad idea to blitz there. I was trying to mix it in because that was something I said that I wanted to mix in more of. We're going to go underneath Courtney Crutchfield. But what if we just took the top off of this defense? Jalen Brown isn't going to be there. Can we make this throw? We can. Hang on. Malachi Nelson all of a sudden playing way better than what we've ever seen before. Quick throw. Out to Jalen Brown. We're going to stay in hurry-up mode. This is something we have not utilized at all that I think affects the computer a lot. There it is. There it is. Why did you jump up to catch it like that, Reno? Just like us, when I'm scrambling on defense when the other team's in hurry-up mode, California scrambling as well. We're going to cut this one back because that's where the hole was. So it is back on our defense to get the stop that we want. They're going deep. This is a play that Kelvin Hunter can make. He missed it. I just want us to get one thing going our way. One catch that's great. One interception. I guess this kid's been holding again, so it's coming back. And we're sitting in some Tampa 2, where I left the flat open. They can get it to 3rd and 11. I didn't mean to leave him that open, but it wasn't at the top of my priorities list. They just handed it off, and of course they break the tackle, and another one, and another one. Dijon Stanley, maybe that's a name I need to be looking for in the transfer portal. The kid's got 100 yards on 9 carries. For a freshman too, Daniel Bray, looking really nice. This is where we get them off the field though. 3rd and 5, Tavion Wallace. He can't guard both of those. Oh, we couldn't get back to make the tackle. They're in field goal range, and I would think by this point they just settle. That's what they should do at least, though we can still hold them to 3. If they hadn't picked up some of their yards so fast, we wouldn't even have a chance at getting the ball back. Here we go, though, with the ball back. I'm just going to Jalen Brown. I don't think he can outrun 3 players, but the kid somehow does. And how on earth did they just let that happen? They were trying to triple coverage on him, and it just did not work. This is a little bit of a harder spot to be in, though. 90 seconds left. We still have to get into the end zone, and we just dump it off. Marion Peterson dives. I think a handoff's going to get us in, unless it does not, which means we're going to have to come up with a 4th and goal play quick. I've saved our timeouts, And we're running around. Malachi Nelson gets in. Okay, they have a minute to respond still, but there's also a chance that their drive gets stalled out. I really don't want this game to go to overtime, but I would love if we stopped them then got a field goal. That's my plan. We just need them to go with some of their more underneath throws, if that's going to happen at all. On 2nd and 1, they just hand it off, and we're in that hole. Should we call timeout? That was a big play for us. I don't think they're going to run it again, even though they're motioning this kid over. I have pass committed. And they kept it on the ground. We knocked the ball loose. They scoop it up. I don't know how we managed to turn that into a 4th and 11. How we managed to get our first stop in forever when we needed it the most. But this is it. This is where we take Arkansas to the promised land. What is our left tackle doing? Why are they able to send 3 and get pressure that fast? It's wasted so much time. It's going to be a missed throw. No. No, not field goal range. Not field goal range. That might do it. California doesn't even need that much. It's a halfback screen. It worked on us down in the red zone. Not here, though. 2nd and 14. I was stuck on the defensive lineman. They literally threw it into triple coverage, I guess like we did to Jaylen Brown. I called the timeout to ice this kicker, but we have to watch as it just slowly goes in. You know, the Gasparilla Bowl isn't a trophy I needed in the trophy case, but it would have been nice. I didn't even think how this might affect our championship contender grade and cause players to transfer. It was a better season than last year, though. I said my goal was just getting 8 wins over 7. And just looking at how some of these school grades have started to move around, our coach prestige dropped to a B- even after the season, so 5-star Tim Ball might transfer. Selman Bridges wants to leave. Ricky Hunt Jr. wants to leave. Some of our quarterbacks like KJ Jackson want to leave. And that is all after we finished inside the top 25 as a 6-loss team. I don't know how that's possible, but clearly having the hardest schedule in the country factored into it. Notre Dame won the national championship over Clemson. And Jaylen Brown is going to declare early for the NFL draft. We're not going to have Jaylen Brown back next year either, unless we can convince him. That is a major loss that's going to affect us a lot. Selman Bridges, are we going to get him? Nope. Maybe we can get Tim Ball. The freshman corner has a lot of potential. He is gone as well. These are all players that we can recruit back during the transfer portal period, though. Like, I'm going to be looking for Tim Ball. We failed every persuasion that we attempted. KJ Jackson never got his chance to shine, but Malachi Nelson isn't leaving our program. Quincy Rhodes Jr., he graduated along with some of these other players like Isaac Smith, the transfer, and JD Drew. We lost a lot of impact players to the portal, though, and our pro potential grade has upgraded where all of a sudden, Wallace is no longer happy. I don't think there's anything we can do to change this before he decide to transfer next season either. We have 1 season left with Tavian Wallace, the 90-speed beast. Though maybe we'll be able to get some better defensive backs since Isaac Smith got drafted in the 3rd round. Another thing I've just thought about is all of these players we might still be able to secure if these other schools don't go after them. Looking around at some of the players that entered the portal from our team, none of them are letting us recruit them and put them back on our board, so they're all gone. But I found the guy, Daniel Bray from California, that had gold shifty that looks so explosive in the bowl game. I also found Zach Forrest in the portal. If you remember him from last episode, he was a 6'4" gadget receiver from Iowa. We're going to have a chance to sign him. We have a speedster like Shelton Sampson Jr. on here just because I think he could make an immediate impact. I also put a bunch of 3-star corners on our board too. I had no idea how many of these defensive backs we'd actually stand a chance on, but from the look of it, not too many of these guys, so we're going to have to take them off of our board and go after some lower rated transfers. By week 3, I realized we're probably not going to get Daniel Bray. I can't guess this hard sell correctly, especially when one of his interests is pro potential, which we have an F grade in. I had to learn the hard way too that some of these guys would rather play for a school like Wake Forest or USF unless I can really get their hard sell correctly in the final week. At the end of the day though, besides losing a few battles, it's looking like we're going to sign basically every transfer I would have wanted. Micah Tease is a 4-star receiver. He's going to make a big difference. I can live on missing out on a couple other 4-stars if that's the type of player that we're going to get, though I did make the mistake of not looking at anybody's stats again, but who cares? We're finally going to get to experience players like Zach Forrest. Basically, everybody we threw on our board at the last second committed to our school, so we have 34 signings. Oh, we lost out on Shelton Sampson Jr. That one hurts. That could have been a nice receiver. But the reason I'm not too upset by it, because 1, he's a junior, and 2, we signed like 10 receivers this year. Turns out Zach Forrest had star development. This 6'4" gadget receiver, he might be a running back for us in the future. Star dev on Travis Smith Jr. as well. Star dev on Micah Tease. how many players are going to have star dev? It's not as special anymore when everybody has it. We got it on Daryl Cush as well. He could be the future for us on one of our edges. Marcus Tucker is the answer we needed at linebacker with elite development, a transfer freshman. Our class rank is still not going to be inside the top 10, but like I said in the last episode, Arkansas averages a top 30 class in real life, so for us to hover around this top 20 spot, it's in a good place. In comparison to the rest of the SEC, it's always going to be about mid-table, but if we play better on the field, we might be able to overcome it and get back to the SEC championship. I also think there's a lot of good things that could be said about our development. We have not gone into talent developer far yet, but what we're going to do is get quarterback whisper. Freshman and sophomore quarterbacks progress faster. I would also like this for receivers and tight ends. Sam Pittman takes us to another level with that. Then, of course, we have Tony Elliott. The strategist thing is the reason that not as many offensive players want to transfer out because they have a lower deal breaker threshold. As for Jim Mora, he's an architect, but I just like the opportunity to get him from UConn since he's done a good job there. That's our coaching staff. Now, as I look through some of these receivers, if I see someone like Jeff Bobo, who only has 84 speed, I'd rather just get him over to tight end right now where he's an 81 overall. Then we have to consider that Joshua Sapp, only 82 speed, might not be the best tight end fit, even though that's where he's supposed to play. He is star dev, and I'd rather keep that at linebacker. For some of these other names that have came in, it's clear that Amarian Peterson is going to run this running back room next season, even if Cameron Williams had a good bit of development. After I move a couple of these players around, we're going to be ready for training results too, which is going to be great. Before I even start upgrading players, I can already tell that once I'm done with it, this roster is going to be miles ahead of what we had last year. Just Malachi Nelson is maxed out basically already, and that's not good. There's no abilities that we can bring up. All we can do is get all of his stats to the max, and that includes his health, which is pretty high. But Brady Hart stuck around for a reason, and the interesting thing we can do with him is get a lot of incredible abilities, like step up in the pocket, which is going to increase his accuracy as we climb it. He's a pocket passer I could actually take to a really high level. We're going to get on time upgraded as well, so he has improved accuracy when thrown with anticipation. Dot increases his accuracy in the pocket for open receivers. At first next season, the job is Malachi Nelson's, but at any moment, if he starts really messing up, there's a chance that Brady Hart will get another opportunity. Then I had to sit here and decide if we should improve Amarian Peterson's quickness or not. It's 14 of the 21 he had to spend. I think outside of that, we're just going to get downhill upgraded. He's going to break tackles at max speed even more often. And then whenever he gets tired, I think transfer Cameron Williams is going to fill in super nicely. As for Jaden Platt, we've been able to get this kid up to a 90 overall, though I'm sure he'll still find a way to drop the football next season. Then we have to talk about Alex Merriman, the fun project on this team I said I was going to work on to make the best running back I could. Currently, he already has almost all of his elusiveness stats maxed out, juke move, spin move, and I've started to work on his power as well because in the future, he's going to be a running back for us that we're going to move over. He had 60 skill points to spend. We can also eventually get stuff like Shifty. So even if his overall looks low right now, I'm very excited for what we can do with him and Zach Forrest in the future. Our receiving core is going to be amazing though. We have a 90 overall Courtney Crutchfield. With a tactician boost, he goes up to a 91 overall. The problem with these elusive route runners though is when you look at their stats, they're not as good as you might think if their elusiveness is really high. That's why I don't love that archetype at that position. Over on the defensive side though, Derek Simmons, he's going to have 99 power moves. I'm hoping that he can carry us to actually getting some pressure off of our defensive line. I think next to somebody like Jordan Crawford, our defensive line going to take a major step forward next season. Tavion Wallace might just declare for the NFL draft too. He's an 89 overall. This team is going to be miles ahead of what we had on paper last year. I mean, even our offensive line is going to be a lot better, which is something that we needed. We have been trying to recruit better at these positions. We're starting to develop there. And losing 5-star cornerback Tim Ball wasn't the end of the world because we still have 3 really good corners that can start for us. I just want to show you all, by the way, that if we go into our custom conferences thing and we sort by championship game selection criteria, it is conference record. It says specifically, choosing conference record will place the top 2 teams by conference record in the championship game, regardless of divisions, except this feature doesn't work. It works the exact same as if it was just division winners. So that's why we were in it. That's going to be the setting that we're stuck with though, because I'd prefer if we could play all of our conference rivals inside the SEC every year. As you can see, our roster has 84 players. It's under the limit. And advancing into season 3, I'm not going to show you all much. You can see the 95 overall team on paper, the number 16 rank in the country. You're also going to see a lot more players that might want to transfer, but all of that's coming in the future. Let me know down below if you think we're going to have what it takes to get to the playoffs in season number 3, and also make sure to like the video if you made it this far. Check out some of my other videos as you all wait on episode 3. I'm having a blast with this series, and I just want to keep on doing it.